KMEGA 4.
Welcome to the GRG podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's try this again. What's happening? The GRG podcast is live for the second time, and hopefully we can get past 16 damn minutes. And as you can see, other than Tally Rex, I had to do some I had to go and I say Don too. I'll be nice to Don, but we had to go to the sewers in the slums of LA and go pick up.
Are you talking about a Ninja Turtle? What the hell are you talking about, man?
We picked up Master Splinter himself, Dark Optimus, anyway.
That's a good one, dude.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, no, here we go,
that.
man. The rest of the crew, they couldn't make it, of course, or they have other engagements and things like that. You know how some folks are, man. They're like, oh man, I would love to come up, but man, I mean, I got like ballet duty. Oh, really? You like 6'8" and you got to do ballet anyway. I'm just clowning. Anyway, what's up, everybody, man? Let's go ahead and try what we're doing on this clown, and let's hope that this damn podcast can keep rolling. about the situation last night, it's so many different variables. I was over here talking with Don last night, and then I was like, he was like, well, check your speed. And so I was telling him about my speed. And so I was over here like, listen, man, I got my stuff is hot. You know, it was 980, you know what I'm saying, going up and all that other stuff, or 980 going down.
No, you told me you had 1 megabyte going up, man. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
It was one going up. And so, but I said, the thing says my internet is like is great, it's super fast. And he says it's the higher number when you're uploading. And I said,
when you're downloading, you still got it backwards.
Yeah, see, I get it backwards.
Higher number when you're downloading, the lower number is your upload.
I get it backwards. And so I was over here like, well, I thought that was, and then next thing you know, I was like, oh, that's the problem or whatever. Anyway, I got a new cable box. We tried to install it, but it has to be activated, so it didn't get activated. But overall, like when I was just talking to Cali Rex, the bottom line, it seems to be, is Windows 11. So what I did is I restarted everything from scratch, like doing Restream, doing all different types of other stuff, and reconnecting it to the old OBS. Hopefully that this will sustain itself. If you notice, if you've been paying attention, I've been doing streaming with Streamlabs, and that's been working fine. Once I was having issues there with Fight Night, I contacted Microsoft, and then they contacted me back, and then next thing you know, I had some kind of update, and then on OBS, Streamlabs, that was working fine.
I'm actually kind of proud of you, man.
What are you proud of me for? What did I do?
Well, usually, like, you're calling me up, help me up with the layout and all that sort of stuff. You didn't call me up for setting up on the different OBS.
Yeah, you know what? I'm trying my best, man. I have asked.
You got it dialed. I saw the stream. Everything was all lined up and everything was correct.
Yeah.
That new technique, I'm sure, helped out a little bit with just how we have it set up for you. But you still have to do some manual work. So
yeah. I'm trying my best here, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Xbot helped me out. Even going back, Jay Centuries helped me out with some things. Xbot helped me out. Lemon helped me out with a couple of things. Don's helped me out with a lot of stuff, man. And so I'm like, look, I got to start doing some of this stuff on my own. Everybody needs help, but you know what?
Yeah, I mean, even people that know all this stuff, they learn it from somebody else, man. Like, just be real about it.
Yeah, no doubt. But anyway, so without further ado, let's get on to it. Let me introduce you to Cali Rex. For you guys out there that don't know, my brother, man, Cali Rex. How you been? You now starting to put your videos back up and all that, man. When is your podcast going to come back? Do you have any idea?
Again, I've been trying to finish my documentary, and then after the documentary is when I plan to do my podcast again, because the documentary is something I'm working hard on to try to make at least good, because it's my first time ever doing something this big. So you got to get it right, you know?
Right.
And since I don't know exactly when I'm going to finish exactly the actual documentary itself, I don't want to give any promises for the podcast, but I'm hoping at least either by the end of this month or by the end of next month is when I'll finish the documentary, and then I'll start up my podcast again.
All right. Excellent. But you're doing a documentary now. That's something I haven't heard too many people say that. Like, that's going to be huge, man. I wish you so much success with that, brother. You do really good work. So
yeah, thanks.
Yeah. No doubt, man. All right, and then my main man Dart, man. I'm not gonna be mad at you, man. You hopped in here in the time of need. You know what I'm saying? I would say that I owe you one, but I don't know, man. I used to support your old podcast, so
you owe me 50 for me being on this podcast, man.
What's up with you, brother?
What's up, man? We're always fooling around. It's just jokes, people. We're just fooling around.
You know what I'm saying? He gotta, but yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. So, but what you been doing, man?
Yeah,
you been playing anything?
Yeah, man. I've been playing a lot of Dust Door. I picked up Madden 22 because I was like, because my pops, he likes playing Madden as well, so I picked that up. And so since we game share on PlayStation, he likes playing it, so now he gets to play the Rams with Stafford in it, so he's all excited about that.
Of course. Even though he threw 3 interceptions in in that
I
little
know, dude.
practice game. But the next game though, the next practice he was balling. So,
Yeah.
I think everything's
Yeah.
gonna be all right. Though. They need to.
Yeah,
rest.
he's just getting his groove, so he'll be good. I don't know if he'll be Super Bowl status, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
for
No
sure.
doubt. No doubt.
And then I also have been playing. I just wanted to go back into Ghost of Tsushima. I didn't get the DLC, but I just wanted to go back and just experience that again because I watched Snake Eyes G.I. Joe, and it just gave me a hankering to go back and play some Ghost of Tsushima just to kind of fool around in there and do some samurai awesomeness, So just been playing a little bit of that as well.
Cool. And Gary, I do have to say, I do like this time as well. You know what I'm saying? But I'm committed to that Friday night spot, man. That's where the baby started. But you know what I'm saying? That's just GRG, man. Friday night, late night hype. That's what we do. But no, I am working on a second podcast, and my boy Cali Rex is going to be a part of it. But I you know what I'm saying? But we still got to try to work out what days and things like that. But I mean, Saturdays around this time could be good. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? That podcast every damn where you try not to step on other people's toes, but at this point in time, it really doesn't matter because you can everybody can just go back and look at what they want to and just catch other stuff live. But we're still working on that. But other than that, like let's get to my main man, Don. Part of the dev and the gamer. I think, and Don, you're on GRG tonight. Or I should say, I can say it tonight, but
I've always been
today.
part of GRG, right? Like
Right.
it's just my commitment times are always been conflicting. So Dev and the Gamer has always been kind of a spin-off of GRG, right? Like it's part of the family, right? So this is just I guess the more natural environment or the original environment being with you and on GRG. So,
yeah, no doubt. But this was my
kind of
point,
an extra thing today, right? GRG
Yeah.
extra, is that what we're doing here?
Well, yeah, we're doing a little extra on this, but this is where you can be a little bit more savage because I know how you feel about the Halo situation because that's going to be.
Oh
the
my
first
gosh, I
topic that
thought
we
I
get
already
into.
talked my feelings through last night.
No. You're gonna have to let it.
again.
No, you're gonna have to let people know. And listen, I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to talk about because I mean, Dark. We was on the next podcast, but this didn't drop until last night, and it has caused a shitstorm all over the internet. I made a pointer about The Last of Us 2. PlayStation stance has gotten crazy. You deflected.
Yeah, you know when you bring up any PlayStation exclusive, you're gonna get some flack, man.
Xbox is deflected about PlayStation.
Wait, I'm a little out of touch because that's actually not my game to play. But did they ever release the multiplayer on that?
No. That was my point,
No.
and it wasn't a shot.
How long ago was that game released?
A year.
Last year. A year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the whole
Okay.
point.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't think that's coming. We'll see.
But no, that's my point. It wasn't a shot towards PlayStation or Naughty Dog or The Last of Us. It was just a point of emphasis, and so I should, just bringing a point, just saying, look, these things happen. It is unfortunate. It is an inconvenience. I understand that people are upset, and I feel bad for you guys. That are really upset about this. But these things have happened. It has happened all over the industry. The COVID situation has been for some studios, saying that there's been games that's been coming out, but there's been a lot of games that's coming out incomplete that didn't have this and that. And so listen, yeah, Xbox, one of Xbox's biggest games, it happened to one of PlayStation's biggest games. It is just the part of the nature of the beast right now. And all I was saying is like, have that same energy. If you're out here capping for Halo to have this add-on or this feature, then you should have the same thing. And I've seen that there was PlayStation fans upset about it, but to me, I see more PlayStation fans mad about the story aspect of it more than the lack of having multiplayer. So that was my whole point. But again, like, you say anything that they just want to have a reason to be upset and whine and bitch and complain. Who cares though? But let me go to first. Let's go to Dark. Okay. What's your thoughts about the Halo situation, man? Is this do you think that this is an absolute fail? I think the bigger question is, do you think that the game should be delayed?
It's absolutely not a fail, dude. I mean, come on, like the co-op. At least we know when the co-op's coming. Like, at least we have a time frame of when we're gonna get Forge. Like, at least we know. Like, they gave like blocks, 3-month blocks of what's coming. Like season 2 co-op, season 3 Forge. Boom. Period. We know when it's coming. But of course, if it doesn't come day one, then it's a big deal. And to me, honestly, man, that's not a big deal because, like, I don't, like, I mean, co-op would have been fun to play with bot or you or who, whoever wants to jump in and play co-op. Um, but I mean, just going through the game solo is fine as well. I mean, I've played all the campaigns solo anyways, so it's for me this isn't a big deal. I was all like, oh, okay. When I saw it, I just skimmed right through it, dude. And then all of a sudden, I just started seeing so many people just so upset about it. I'm just like, I get it. I get that you like playing these games with your friends and the stuff like that, but sometimes if they want to put out the game and make it, the best thing as possible, sometimes they have to push things back. And I don't think they need to delay the game in order to put the co-op in there and Forge and stuff like that. I think they just need to come out with a game because this year's the 20th anniversary, and I think it would be great to have a Halo this year for the Xbox. And either way, I think you're gonna have a great experience because, yeah, granted, the campaign is you're gonna have to go through it solo, but you still have the multiplayer there. At least, you know, at least there's a game that's coming out with the multiplayer and the campaign. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
So, and you'll have multiplayer to play with your friends. I mean, if you really want to play with your friends, you're going to play the multiplayer. I mean, the majority of, I think, players on Halo, when they play with their friends, they play in the multiplayer. So, I mean, I don't really see a huge issue with this, and like I said before, at least we know a time frame of when those two features are coming.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Now, let me get to Don. Callie, I don't know what you're going to say or how you feel about the situation, but I'm very intrigued. Well, I already kind of know where Don is on this. And like Don, let loose. I want you to express your feelings about it, how you did last night, because from my perspective, and like our little crew is like me, Don, One Bad Mother, Game Down Sites. We usually have some other people that'll drop in and play with us, but the main core of our Halo team is me, One Bad Mother, and Don. And so, like, we had this discussion last night, and I wish One Bad Mother could be on, but of course he was busy doing some stuff with his family, and so to get his perspective of it. But Don, I mean, I know you're on the opposite side of that. So give us your thought. Lay it out, man. Lay it out.
Well, the best way I can describe it is a lot of the mistakes the 343 has made on Halo 5.
Mhm.
They're doing that plus some. One of my biggest critiques I've had of them, and I've liked their games. Like they're some of my favorite Halos. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But the biggest issue is it was an incomplete game when they first released Halo 5. That did not play well for them. Forge wasn't ready. Big team battle wasn't ready.
Yep.
There wasn't a lot of maps on the multiplayer. The thing that took priority was all the all the little content, like the outfits and the skins, and those things took priority over everything else. And obviously, the community raised a pretty big stink about it. And a lot of those things didn't affect me because I didn't really care about Forge nearly as much. I didn't care nearly as much about Big Team Battle, even though it felt kind of hollow not having it. And then this time around, they take the main feature that I am one of the few things that I'm actually looking forward to on Halo, which was playing co-op at launch, experience the story brand new with a friend, and having kind of those oh moments that you share, right,
Yes.
as a community. And really, to be honest with you, the campaign is the glue of Halo. It what draws everyone into the universe. Everyone wants to talk about it. Everyone wants to be part of the lore, right? And that first time experience, there's no way it's going to happen for me. 3 months down the road, good luck trying to find someone who hasn't played through the campaign that's not interested in it. You know what I mean? Or is interested in playing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Good
no,
luck
I
being
get you.
in a party chat and not having a friend spoil it for you for the first time.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I'm probably
there's
gonna,
people already sending out spoilers now. So I
yeah,
mean, yeah,
I'm already, I'm gonna preemptively, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna, reach out to Sir X-Men and just say, hey, nothing personal, but I gotta block you. You know, you know what I mean? I gotta mute you, until it's time, right? But the harsh reality, I'm never gonna get that opportunity to get that experience, and that is the quintessential experience that pulled me into Halo, and it has essentially kept me engaged into the lore of Halo. And that's simply not going to happen. I would say that, there's probably a 30% people that actually play through. And then again, I don't know the real numbers. I'm just taking a guess here, but I'm thinking there's about roughly, from what I'm seeing out there, people expressing how they feel about it. That I know that actually play Halo, not like the people that are jumping on the bandwagon just to hate because other people hate, right? But the actual people that play Halo, I would say, roughly from what I can tell, it's 30% that want that experience. And that's a huge chunk of the market you're just kind of leaving out. And the problem is they can't fix it. They've already fucked up. Like, how do you fix it? You can't delay the game because then you splinter the community even more. The other people that are looking forward to the campaign solo, right? You can't do that to them. You can't just release multiplayer and not the campaign because people know it's ready, except for this one feature in regards to that. And then what's the other option you can do? Try to rush it out for them, if they can. I don't know. I think this is just really poor planning on 343's part. Yeah, they had the pandemic, but they've had plenty of extra time in regards to that to get it right. And I think it's just really poor management. As somebody who works in the industry, like, this is just shitty management. I mean, just the only way I can really tell from the outside looking in, from experience, it just looks like really bad management to me. And it's what's done is done, but this is the effects of it. So
yeah, no, I mean, listen, and that's the part right there is that, listen, I get that why people are upset, and I don't look at it as severely as you do, but that's not to take away from
but
anything
that's
else.
not the core experience
But
for
that's
you,
not the
right? So
core,
everyone's
right?
everyone's core
Yeah.
experiences are different, right? So
Mm-hmm.
some people prioritize, some people don't give a shit about the campaign, so like
Right.
this doesn't affect them at all, right? There's some people that just want the multiplayer to be right, so that's part of it. Just like like there's those split screen people out there. I've yet to meet one in person, but the harsh reality, there is a percentage of people that's a core experience for them, and so when a lot of people dismiss them, it's kind of like, well, what the hell, you know what I mean, that sort of thing. And so it's one of those things like, how can the community come together versus be splinter apart? The reality is everyone prioritizes something different. Some people like solo, some people like that co-op experience, some people love that big team battle, they love or the other multiplayer experiences. There's going to be another group that's probably going to like just playing against bots. That's what they prefer, you know what I mean? So I mean, it just is what it is. Well,
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, this is why that upsets me about the community sometimes is that, listen, we don't feel like we can't be sympathetic because we don't agree on one way or the other. I'm sympathetic to the people who want co-op like that. I want co-op. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, okay, let's say, for instance, I think the one biggest caveat behind this is that there has been some mismanagement. And who the hell are they listening to? Because we talked about this last night.
yeah.
What they got couch co-op, split screen, day one. Did somebody look at the percentages and see what that was? Like, I mean, listen, I understand that that's an important thing for some people out there. But I mean, when you want to when you really want to be honest about it, which was more important, the online co-op or the couch co-op? And then there'll be people say, well, they need to be putting both. Listen, if you have to make a choice, right then and there, if I was sitting at the war room or whatever that they call that the table or wherever where they get together, I'm going to be
usually
like,
it's weekly meetings. They
meetings table.
they're checking on where people are at on their timetable and all that sort of stuff. So I mean,
if that's the case, what's up, one bad mother? If that's the case, then you would think like I would, that somebody had to say, listen, online co-op it's been essential with Halo since Halo 2. And it's been and it's been a part of even Halo 1. So again, people play more online than they do couch co-op these days. Let's just be real.
I mean, who wants to see their game in a low resolution, share a TV with one another, and then share the same airspace where your buddy's farting next to you, man? Like, I just don't want to. I don't care about that experience. But there's certain people who are like, dads and kids that, for example, they have, the dads want to take their son through that Halo experience through. I get it. Yeah. I mean, I really do. But you have to run the numbers on situations like that when you prioritize, and you really need to. I mean, that's the thing when you talk about war rooms and stuff like that. I mean, it's not really a war room,
right?
But when the conversations are actually happening, part of the thing is, when you bring up a point, you have to bring, I think, numbers to the equation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where you can't just say it in passing, right? You have to come prepared. You know what I mean? And you have to present your case in order to things to be taken care of and prioritized. And then, if that point the management is just ignoring that, and the management's just ignoring it, and that's just, and they got a lot of fat to chew on developing this game. I get it, but it's just, I just shaking my head, man.
I get it.
I mean, it's a done deal now. Like, unless they can clutch it at the end, like it is what it is. You know what I mean? So.
Okay. So, all right. So I got to get to Callie Rex, but I do got, another question to ask you guys going forward. So, Callie, what is your thoughts about this? Now, hearing two different perspectives, what is your thoughts about it? The Halo co-op being not there, and Forge as well.
I just want to say, like, I'm kind of not surprised, like, about like this kind of announcement, because it kind of seems like the industry it kind of seems like a lot of just games in general do this now, where they'll launch something without like certain game modes in the game, like with Battlefield launching without a campaign, the new Battlefield game at least, and then also Call of Duty, they did it with Black Ops 3, or was it? No, it was Black Ops 4 without the campaign too.
Right, it was Black Ops 4. Yep.
And it just kind of seems like it's just becoming the norm now, where these companies will just put out whatever they have that's ready, and they won't worry about the backlash, because now gamers are just kind of used to it. They're just accepting this trend of how to release like unfinished games. Now, I don't agree that it's kind of set in stone that 343 can't like push it back, because of course they always could push back in if Microsoft gave them the time
push it back without consequences, though.
Yeah, I mean, like, people will understand. Like, everyone brings up that Miyamoto quote where what was it? Like, a finished game is a good game, but a rushed game is forever bad, or whatever. Right. I don't remember the exact quote, but like, I mean, the quote isn't wrong. You shouldn't rush out a project just because like you want people to have it already. You should take your time with it. And I think that's one thing that 343 needs to understand, is that they need to take their time with Halo, make it as polished as possible, and make sure they don't cut corners.
Yeah, no,
I don't even know if it's a 343 problem. I think it's they have to answer to people above them in regards to that, and I think that's what's driving a lot of this, trying to appease your boss above you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
somebody asked this question for you, Don. Was like, well, who is to blame? Is it Phil, Matt Booty? Is it Matt Booty, Bonnie
I
Ross?
wish I would. Oh no, I mean I'm not working at the studio. I don't know
Right.
exactly the pipeline. I don't know what sources have been allocated to other things versus that. Like, there's still a lot of stuff we don't know about the game just in general. So it wouldn't be fair to
I'm
make
not
that assessment.
right.
But they do have a lot of money. They do have a lot of resources, right?
Mhm.
And it's just just like anything, it's a team effort. Sometimes you have to come together and can't just blame one person and just point out one person. But there's just a lot of the stink of management just not having it, having everything in line. You know what I mean? And not having this sort of thing as a priority. Like, how do you let such a major feature slip through? Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
it's one thing for me to be able to forget, like, say, a fire hydrant or something like that that was supposed to be in the game. I'm just being hypothetical, right? But that didn't make it into the game versus a major feature that's been there since Halo 2. It really hasn't been there at C level, like online. But that started with Halo 2, and it's been a main feature. I mean, even Bungie. I was talking about the story with Halo 3 in Bungie, and I still think 343 is a better studio than Bungie in a lot of ways. But Bungie did this thing where they were kind of doing this like video doc leading up to Halo 3, and I remember when they let it accidentally slip that they all 4 people were playing co-op
Yeah.
together, and that was something they were planning for the game, but they didn't know they were going to be able to deliver. Roughly around summer, like July-ish of that year, Halo 3 coming out. All of a sudden, they said it's official. We got 4-player co-op going. And that's a good example of just how you should deliver on that promise, right? Like, you don't overpromise in regards to that. You underpromise and overdeliver, and this is a situation where the goal's been set, the markers out there, and they just fell short of it. I mean, it's just for certain gamers, not all gamers, of course, right? Like, it just depends on what you prioritize, but it is definitely a fundamental core feature of Halo. I don't think I would be a Halo fan without it. So
Yeah, and let me explain to my main man Stone King X what happened. I've been having some issues with the stream, especially when I do GRG at night. When I do GRG, I don't know what the deal is. I have some thoughts, but I think it's more so me being with the beta program, or I forgot what it's actually called, with the previews program with Microsoft, and so I got Windows 11 early, and so I've been having problems ever since, and so it's starting to it's working itself out, and so what I had to do is make some really crazy adjustments because I was trying to get the show going I was trying to get the show back up last night, but it just wasn't. It just said no, it wasn't going to do it. So I had to got up this morning and started doing all different types of calculations and stuff. And did I say calculations? I'm not calculations. Me doing all different types of button clicking and trying to get it to work. And so right now, so far, so good. So
I just imagine a bunch of whiteboards and KMEGA doing really high end math.
well, I was using that green screen as a whiteboard. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it. I got to put it behind me here pretty soon.
That shit don't wipe off, man. You better watch it.
Anyway, but yeah, that's what happened. I apologize, and I couldn't let you guys, after we was starting, and then got the super chats, and then I can't do the listeners like that, man. I feel I can't short y'all like that. Just say, oh well, we'll be back next week. So I was like, no, I gotta do the show. So I had to do it. I can't. Of course, we couldn't have the some of the original guys here, but but we got Don. He's always been a part of GRG. It's just we just do Devin the Gamer, and so and like I said, Cali Rex. He's a part of Future Project. Cali Rex is my boy, and then Dark Optimus. I mean, okay. Anyway, so
don't even have anything to say.
You should have just said the other guy.
And the other guy. Anyway,
I'm out of here.
Anyway, so all right, so okay. This is the issue. I think that it is. I think that they made, like you were saying, they were trying to appease people because of the whole Halo 5 situation, right? And
Mhm.
then, like, I believe, like, I think it was Bonnie Ross that said something about, like, well, because people were demanding that split screen situation, that the couch split screen situation. And so she was like, yeah, we'll add that on. Well, I mean, when she said that, I think, what was that, like 2017, 2015, whatever, 2020, I don't know. It was years ago. And so when you're looking at when somebody's complaining and want that type of feature, I mean, that was closer to 2013. We're to 2021. That feature is
Well,
very, very, very
it's a
niche
weird, yeah,
now.
it's less
Yeah.
important now than it was yesterday, and it's always going to be that way, right? But the other issue that you run into is there's the numbers internally that they know people that use that feature, and then there's the numbers in the public that people talk about, right? So Xbox has got this problem where if there's somebody in their own community that's a little bit more critical of them, if that makes any sense,
Mhm.
going forward, then what happens is the people that hate Xbox also will dogpile, right?
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't give you an accurate picture or an accurate number, or people are fans of your products. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
And so I have a feeling like there's a lot internally. They listen to the numbers they see out in the general public. They're just doing a tally of what people are saying, right? How many people said something negative about this? And it's almost like they're letting that take priority over the numbers they know internal, which I think are much more accurate, right? A representation of people who play that product. But I think the carrot it's being hanging in front of them is like, well, maybe if we did this, even though these are the people that have the game that say use this feature, maybe if we did this, we can gain all these extra players. But it's can't just take those numbers and have them translate it like that, because it's not an accurate poll of people that actually would play the stuff, and I feel like that's something Microsoft struggles with. So
I mean, what company isn't just trying to grow their
yeah,
fan base for a certain game?
yeah, you can't blame them for that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
In regards to that, but the problem is, you don't have time to sort through, hey, this person's legitimately frustrated versus this person is just somebody that dogpiles on everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they
Right.
can't actually study accurate information.
Yeah, exactly. Like you and I may know that person because we've interacted with them a couple different times. We're like, yeah, bullshit. You know what I mean? I don't believe that guy, right? Or that gal, or whoever it is, right? They're just trolling. Other people are they're just looking at a number and they're just doing a tally. I mean, because there's so much information out there these days. So
Yeah. This is the problem overall. Which for me is like, look, I you can point the finger. I think there's fingers to definitely be pointed, and I think management is probably the biggest one. Because of, you've heard that there was management issues from previous employees. But this is no different than, I mean, these big studios, they've all had their issues. The crunch situation, I see people bringing up crunch now. They weren't bringing up crunch when it was talked about with Naughty Dog or with anybody else, but there's just people that wants to have this disdain hate for 343. And the sad part about it is that there's some within the Halo community, because it's not because Halo is not with Bungie anymore. That ship is sailed, guys. You know what I'm saying? So again, and 343 is not made a like horrible product to where I've seen way worse games. I've played way worse games than anything 343 has pumped out. You may not like the story, but you might love the multiplayer in Halo. You may not like the multiplayer in Halo 4, but love the story in Halo 4. That's fine. They just got to put it all together for what they're doing with Infinite. I get about the criticism. People are always going to criticize. I just think at it from this standpoint is that they listen to the wrong people. It's just like for the same thing that I've always said, like the developers should just go ahead and just make their game and then have the gaming community adjust. Because what we have is this tug of war where people were even fighting about we shouldn't have run or clamoring in the game. It's 2021. Listen, you got the Master Chief Collection. Stop bitching about running and clamoring, because every other shooter has running and clamor. That's
It's
the
it's like
yeah,
making the fundamental argument all Nintendo consoles should only have 2 buttons and a D-pad, right? Like,
exactly. Yeah,
like
you want
things
motivation,
are
you
going
want
to evolve to
innovation.
some degree, right?
Yeah, you want
Eh,
evolution. And one thing that I agreed with One Bad Mother what he said last night is that the PlayStation community is better well equipped on accepting what products is being delivered to them. They don't
I will
really.
also say though, Sony does keep themselves in a box as a publisher,
Oh yeah, they don't talk to
where
nobody. Yeah,
they like they don't deviate too far out of this
no,
box, right?
they stay right there in
It,
their lane.
so,
Yeah,
and I think that's a lot of, you can do it like a chicken and egg sort of argument, but I think a lot of the outcome that you get from that community is because they don't deviate too far from it, right? And they're pretty accepting of it because they know what to expect. It's kind of like, I kind of joke around. It's like going to a Michael Bay film, right? Like you know what the game, you know what his movie's going to be about, right?
Mhm.
Like you're not going to get this like in-depth, life-changing experience. It's just about entertainment and explosions, right? And so you know what to expect on that sort of thing. And I think that Sony is, because they've only kind of painted themselves in this one box. I think it's really easy to appease that audience. And it's not a negative thing. It's just just the repercussions of it. So
Yeah. No, it's an inconvenience all the way around. I just look at like if you're gonna have that same energy, have it with everything else. I mean, there's different factors within this. It's not like I'm telling people that they can't criticize 343 because they have every right to. But the point of the matter is that listen, there's a pandemic that's going on. They're they're doing something completely different with this franchise that hasn't been done before by making it into like a Destiny-esque type of saga. And and then of course they got a new engine and they're just doing all different types of things. And on top of that, being pulled from one direction, like we want to see new and fresh stuff. And then they get pulled another direction. We want the same old feel of what Halo used to be, and then pulling another direction. Well, you got to get this game out on time. Because if you don't, all hell's gonna break loose. And then you get pulled another direction. Well, damn, this game is look at what the public is saying about this. Look at what they show. They're showing a damn a big ass beast and they calling it Craig delay the game. You know what I'm saying?
talking
So
about
like yeah,
talking about the California raisin with guns, right? Yeah, I gotcha.
yeah. So it is a tough deal, and while you got to appreciate what Naughty Dog does with all these big huge studios, what they have to deal with. But 343 has definitely got so many eyes on them from haters and love and people who appreciate them. And all I'm saying is that what they should do is just do what they want to do, and then let the gamers adjust to it. They'll love it. That is what you said last night, Don. They're not gonna make everybody happy. They're just not. There's going to be something that somebody is going to complain about. I mean, shit. People was complaining about fruit baskets. Let's be real here. So I don't know. But the question the last question I want to ask you about the Halo situation is, Dark. Do you think that the game should be delayed?
No, sorry, no.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You don't think it's okay? All right, Callie. Do you think the game should be delayed?
If
No, I
it
don't think it
absolutely
should be
needs to
delayed at
be,
all.
Okay.
if it absolutely needs to be, then sure. I mean, depends on the state it's in, at least.
Yeah, I mean, they talked about like, I mean, I'm seeing, of course, that there's all type now. There's a lot like this doom and gloom shit going on, and then all of a sudden there's secret devs popping out. Well, the story is going to be shorter. The game is not yet fully complete. The game they're still in disarray. There ain't going to be a lot of maps. They're not going to be a lot of this. They're not going to be a lot of that. So, I mean, no, I don't feel personally that the game should be
You're talking
delayed.
about the dogpile effect.
Yeah, the dog pile effect is now begun because there are people out here that really are so out of pocket with it, like being legit mad about it and saying that 343 is screwed the pooch on bringing in a feature that has been a part of Halo from forever. That's fine. be mad about that shit. That's exactly why, you know, we're having
Well,
this
justify
discussion.
your argument. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
but
there's a
justify
big
your
difference.
argument.
There's a big
Yes.
difference, like where, like, I'll illustrate like why. Like, this is the reason why, like, it's not the same.
Right.
And you know, it may not be a big deal to you, but here's the reason why it's a big deal to me. Now, you
Mhm.
don't have to cookie cutter what I just said, right? Like, you
Mhm.
come up with your own reasons, right? But that's the fundamental issue is, and the people just say, well, then screw it, and that's why other people will dismiss. He's like, well, you're not a real Halo fan,
Right.
or you know what I mean, or you're not, you know, not a fan of the game, and that's just not true either. You just gotta illustrate your point a little bit better.
Yeah. No, I just think that it's sad all the way around. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's an inconvenience. It's not a fail. Bringing out the game. Now, I will say this. See, I do got to bring up this point. What would have been the fail is if they brought out Halo last year and it didn't have the multiplayer. They just brought out the single player.
Or
Or
looking the same way it did at the time, or you know, when
Mhm.
they first showed it and stuff like that. You know, that would have been a big win. But you know, my hope is through all the nonsense of people out there, they'll
Yeah.
at least be able to hear something out and work something out as well. Like if they need a staff or need someone to be pulled away from something else, say from the DLC down the road or whatever they need to do to make it work. Hopefully, you know, Microsoft will do the right thing to try to make it work. That's my hope. But outside of that, I mean,
Yeah, no,
we'll see.
I totally agree. Hey, Dark, you got a fan. He says the friendly neighborhood blue shell. Thank you so much, man. He said for the other guy. So he's talking to Dark, or he's talking about Don. I don't know. He's a fan of both of you guys, but I think he's meant for you.
Blue shirt guys, it must be dark.
It must be.
It'd probably me, yeah.
Okay, so and yes, it's Xbot 448 say the super chat works, people. Oh, I can't get my voice that high, so you know.
Yeah,
so,
dude.
yeah, I can't do it.
You
Nice
gotta
try,
kill
though.
your
Nice
balls
try
off
there.
in
I
order to
did.
get
I did.
that.
That shit hurt my throat. I can't do that. I can't do it. I can't talk like Xbox. It just can't happen. My nuts hang too long for that. Anyway. So,
You think they have too much sway? Is that what
It's got
you're
too
trying to
much
say?
sway, man. I'm an old man. This man, that boy, he got raised in bits. That's how he got that.
He's got no tetherball, is what you're saying.
Shout out to 448, man. Yeah, thank you, Blue Shell. All right. I will say this. I think that this discussion about 343. All right, let's just hypothetically say 3-4. Okay, that because of Duke, I remember y'all brought that dude up last night. I remember this. I knew he looked familiar, but I couldn't think of where I remembered him from. But when y'all guys brought up about the Crackdown 3 thing, that's when I said, that's him.
You talking about Jason?
Jason, yeah, I was like, that is
Yeah,
him.
he's been there since the Bungie days too, as well. Keep that in mind. So he's got that pedigree. That's why he's beloved amongst Halo alumni.
Right, and that's fine, and yeah, but I remember when he came out and he said, Crackdown 3's multiplayer is going to be delayed, and it's going to come, and it's going to come back, and it's going to come, and all that. And I remember hitting him back up and saying, look, that is all fine and good. We understand, you know, we want the game to be right and to be good, but if you wait too long to bring that multiplayer on to Crackdown 3, it is going to, because you know, that's what had a problem. It had a problem with, it had the online, but the online,
it didn't have a party system was the issue.
System, right? And the big, and I said, listen, if you can't play that game with your friends, that online is going to be dead DOA. In, you know, if you don't have that shit up by like 3 months from now, it's DOA. And what? In less than a month or 2 months, it was gone. It was dead. You could not get a match. And so seeing this man saying this again, and look, I understand that Halo is a different beast compared to Crackdown 3.
You're allowed a lot more leeway, and you can tell just within the small people within the community right here, right? Like we all feel a little bit differently about it, but it's. I think he's out of touch with that. Like I think he's trying to appease his boss, and he's not taking the right stand at the time. Like I
Yeah.
see this pattern with him, and it's just and I think he's a talented person. He's somebody, as somebody who works in the industry, I wouldn't mind working with him at one point in time. But this is where he gets it wrong. And it's really easy to be on the backseat to say someone get it wrong, but I feel like he does. He gets it wrong on this one.
Yeah, and I that's the part that, if anything, that makes me nervous is that right there, because I seen his face and I remember Crackdown 3 what he said, and I understand. Like I said, this is a different beast. Halo is going to be fine, but if they go any further, then the 2 months that they've got, the 2-3 months that they've kind of said about when they're going to drop the co-op. Because I don't think people are going to trip out about Forge as much. If Forge goes up to a year, people will start bitching.
Did trip about it
Yeah.
last time, but I think that's been established that that's going to happen.
Yeah, the Forge is going to be about 6 months or so. But if this co-op situation doesn't get fixed in that time frame of what he said, then all hell's going to break loose. Because it's at this point, then what you're doing. You got people like me who saying, "Listen, it's an inconvenience. It's a first world problem. It's a deal, but it's not that big of a deal." And then you got people like Don that's over here that's like, "Hey, this is garbage. This is pissing me off. But okay, I still love my Halo." And then you got the other people out there that is pushing and trying to make this narrative and saying, 343, blah 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 blah. If they don't meet that timeline. That's why I don't like them doing timelines. If you don't know, then you don't know. Hopefully hopefully they're sure about this, because with big titles like this, they can't just come out and you just can't be. You got to be accurate about it. And if you are not accurate about it, I fear that all hell's going to break loose. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that I'm onto something with that, or you think that I'm overblowing it some?
I think the damage is already done, man.
Huh.
I don't. I think it's irrelevant they do season 4 or they do in season 2. I think the damage at this point is already done.
Well, I don't know. Anybody else? Anybody else got anything they got to say about that? All right. PlayStation.
Is it just me, Mega, today, or what's going on?
No. The PlayStation guys, they don't.
I don't have anything. I don't have anything to say.
Yeah, they don't play Halo like that. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, I like how Kelly Rex has faith in the gaming community and says like people will be okay if they delay it again. Like, I mean, I want the optimism he has about
that's
it.
That's why Kelly's a good dude, man. He's
man.
He knows. He looks at the good in people. I try to as well.
Okay. The way I put it,
question though. Go ahead. I won't get you off. Go ahead.
The way I put it, is like this: if they could avoid being like another Cyberpunk situation where they delayed it and nothing changed and the game was still broken, then I'll understand. Then people have a right to be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
But since no one really complained when they had the beta out or whatever the test was for Halo. No one complained. So I have faith people will at least be patient because they already enjoyed the multiplayer.
Well, and I'd be more curious about the poll in the chat and us, just within the panel here. I mean, think about like your fellow gamer. Okay, you're interested. You're the gamer that's interested in playing it. You don't care about the co-op campaign. Will you be willing to forego the game for 2 or 3 months, whatever it takes, for them to get it right for your fellow gamer, or do you want your Halo now? And seriously, like on the panel, like, would you guys be willing to forego that for that feature, or would you just want your Halo now?
You see, for me, I'm not really a hardcore Halo gamer like you guys. I'm just a casual player, so of course I'd sacrifice that.
You still have a say in it, just like any other gamer. So, you, Mega, and Dark.
Dark is back in his sewer over there.
He's in his cry closet right now. Yeah. But anyways, go ahead.
It's
California cry closet.
I gotta have it. I gotta have it now. You gave me a taste.
You gotta have it now. So you wouldn't forego it, right? Yeah, that's my thing.
I'm kind of used to this new era of how gaming is being approached. you have to look at it from this standpoint of how gaming used to be when you bought a game, and if you bought it incomplete, there was nothing that could be done with that game.
Because it was a
Things,
cartridge
yeah, because it
or
was
a CD or so you
right.
just
You just had
just
to
had to
grin
live
and
with it.
bear it. You paid the money. You just got to deal with all the bugs, the issues, and all of that. Now they can go back and they can fix things. I remember I was having this discussion with Xbox 448 about the Master Chief Collection, and I said they're not going to give up on that. That was too big of a project for them to give up on, and he was adamant in saying that no, they're going to get rid of it. No, they're not going to do anything. That thing is dead, is gone. And I'm like, no. I
They
said
wanted to
because
walk away, is
they,
what he was trying to say.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't walk away from a massive project like that because of the issues. You have the means to go back and to fix that. And now look at Master Chief Collection now. And that's the whole thing with like you just go back and look at like I'm playing the Avengers like crazy. Like it was messed up and it was tripping, and watch. The same thing's gonna happen with Cyberpunk. People gonna go and start buying the hell out of Cyberpunk once they know that it's working properly. I was fortunate to get through the game and play it, and I loved it. But when Cyberpunk is ready for those people who can wait, they'll jump on it. The way that games are being made today, you can survive the first hit, but you can't survive the second one. So once you get that, so when I say what I mean by that, it's like, okay, once the game's released, and if it's broken, you're gonna have problems, right? But you can still survive that because you got time to patch it and get it right. But after that, if you have problems, then the community has no faith in you whatsoever, and that's the people that's what Halo has to do. If people that have this thought process of like, well, I'll wait, or I'm not sure, they should just delay it. No, you said you're gonna bring that game out. I think it would be 10 times worse to delay that game and bring it out in February or March of next year, and that game still has something missing with it. That's when you have the bigger problems, because it still won't have Forge, and so that's still going to bring a group of people saying, "Why is this game not complete? Why is this game not this?" And especially, let's say that they don't have the executions ready to go at that point. Then why there's
We're
no
not going to get
execution?
executions till probably summer.
See, that's what I'm saying. So just bring the game out now, grin and bear it, take your heat, and make sure that you meet that deadline of when you said you're going to bring co-op, and then proceed as accordingly. And everything will be fine, because if the multiplayer works fine, everything is all that. Just got free to play. You're doing all these new things that just let that work for you, and then just make sure that you do what you're supposed to do after that point. If you go ahead and try to delay it, or you keep over making promises that you can't keep, then that's when you're going to lose the community. And that's what you see with certain games. Like I think Avengers is. I think once Avengers keep doing what they're doing, I think they'll eventually get back. I don't think they'll ever recoup the money like they were expecting. But this isn't a problem. This has been a problem with games going forward all of last gen. It's going to be like this moving forward, because once big publishers want this money, once they got a deadline, they want to make that money. They spend a lot of money, and these big corporations aren't really caring about people's feelings. They want this product to be out here so they can hit their bottom line, or at least attempt to. And that's where we're at right now. And this is just the gaming business, man. So, all right, but that was a good discussion. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about let's see. Let's talk about the Outrider situation. Okay, so while I was talking about the Square Enix, Square Enix went to the People Can Fly. I think that was the name of the studio. They were saying that they didn't understand about why they didn't get their royalties or their little extra money bonuses or whatever, because they felt that from their estimations of where Outriders have sold, that they should already already got that little extra bread. Pretty much what Square Enix is saying is like, nah, hold up. You didn't meet expectations. You didn't do what you were supposed to, well, I can't say they didn't do what they were supposed to do, but they didn't meet expectations. and
Didn't meet
therefore,
certain requirements
yeah,
or
they didn't meet
whatever,
certain
right?
requirements. So therefore, the question is like who's at fault of this? Is it people that can fly, thinking that since they sold as many as they thought that they took, they were saying their estimate was around 2 to 3 million, um, and or is it Square Enix because we've had a history of knowing Square Enix has been saying that certain games haven't met that price point that I guess to get bonuses. Remember they said this with Tomb Raider, they said this with Nier
Yeah.
Automata. Yeah, they said this with quite a few games. So who's at fault? I'm gonna go to you, Dark. Where are you at? You still here?
Yeah, he's muted.
Yeah, he's muted.
He's MIA.
He's watching TV.
His mic's muted.
He does this on next podcast.
Sorry, man. I'm in a business meeting right now. Hold on.
You in a bit? Oh, you at work? You at
Sorry.
work?
Yeah, sorry.
So you can't talk. So you can't talk.
No, I'll be right back though.
Oh, okay.
It's almost over.
Okay.
It's almost over.
Okay. He's these
All right.
boys at work. The dedication.
That's what he
Anyway.
calls his bathroom break right there.
I
Anyways,
think so. You're right. All right. So let me go Cali Rex on this. What do you think, Cali Rex? Who's at fault at this? If you think it's Square Enix a little bit, or you think it's people can fly or whatever because they didn't read the contract right.
Okay, I think it. The part about it, like where Square Enix felt like it was a failure, because like I feel like, because I've seen a lot of Japanese companies and how they work now, because I've been studying them, and a lot of Japanese companies kind of seem to like think if it doesn't sell like however so million, right? They consider it a failure. Just like Capcom did consider like the DMC reboot game. I mean, it sold fine, but for them it was a failure. So I think this is the kind of same situation for Square Enix. Like, but the part I kind of find confusing though is the fact when they first came out and talked about the game, they said that they were quite happy with it. So that either means at some point it might have had a drop off, or it wasn't getting revenue for them. So I think the game is doing fine, but probably just not like up to their standards.
Pretty much. Go ahead, Dom.
probably pretty accurate. I mean, I think when they say the word failure, I think it's appeasing whoever, shareholders, that sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, doesn't mean it wasn't not a commercial success. It just means it didn't bring in the revenue that they were anticipating.
Okay.
I mean, does that make sense to people?
No, that makes sense. No, I get it. Yeah, no.
Yeah, because that's the only way those two statements can even be true in the way they keep presenting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Square Enix just in general, in regards to that. So I don't know. I don't know. It just, I think when you're a studio, I think you need to be responsible for your own contracts. I mean, just as somebody that's signed at least 30 or 40 different contracts, I've read the shit out of those things, right?
Yeah,
and I negotiate.
And you have to as an independent studio too, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, as an independent, right now, and I do a lot more of that stuff. So obviously, than say somebody that's just an actual employee, if that makes any sense. And then the people can fly as a company negotiates everything, and then they kind of re-up like this is what your employment agreement is and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, but that's kind of your job as a studio. If I'm one person, one individual that can do it, then I don't see why people that has probably lawyers on hand, people that they can look at all that sort of stuff. And then let's say like they originally signed the contract with Square Enix and the whole Game Pass thing wasn't a thing when they first signed the contract. Well, then you're gonna have to renegotiate your contract, add an addendum in regards to that, and try to figure out what that is. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It's almost
like,
kind of
yeah.
Scarlett Johansson
situation.
Yeah. Like she that should have been renegotiated when that occurred, and there was kind of a drop in the ball between Scarlett and Disney, and people always want to take a side, but the reality is Scarlett was responsible for renegotiating a contract, and and I would say Disney would be responsible for coming to Scarlett and saying, hey, this theatrical release is not going to be traditional, right? Like having that foresight to be able to renegotiate at the table. And I don't know if that's something that had a conversation or not, but it's the same thing with when you're talking about this sort of thing. If it affects your bonus structure in some sort of way, then you got to think about those sort of things. Game Pass can be a great tool, but if you're not looking at your value and you're not leveraging your value as a studio, I mean, that's kind of on you. You know what I mean? And I know that sounds very heartless, but sometimes when you're a business, you have to leave the heart behind and just get the shit done. You know what I mean? And then you can put the heart into it afterwards. And you just got to be a little bit bullheaded about that sort of stuff. I mean, that's just how that stuff works.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's crazy because I mean, you look at it. The actress that was played what's that show, that movie, Drusilla, I think, whatever, with the Dalmatian villain.
Cruella.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even watch
I swear, man.
Dalmatians. That's not my type of jam. But she had the same type of issue, but they got that worked out with Disney. So it's kind of crazy how you approach the situation. Like, I don't know what Scarlett Johansson did behind the scenes, but obviously it pissed Disney off to where they say that she's blackballed. So from never working with Disney again. So I don't know.
Probably because she made a big stink about it.
Yeah.
Because some actresses, they make too much of a stink, and then all of a sudden it's like it turns into thing that it
definitely
doesn't need to be.
Definitely, because if you remember when Warner Brothers announced that they would be putting all their movies onto HBO Max, all the actors got pissed off at that.
Yeah.
No, and there's no doubt about it.
But I think going in the future.
Oh, now you want to talk? You done with your little meeting?
Yeah, dude. Hey, the business meeting
first,
over
the. Yeah.
Hey, but yeah, I think for stuff like that, I think in the future, contracts will be rewritten to state that this movie's going to go to streaming for however many days, or it'll go to streaming within this amount of time. So you'll get profits from the streaming plus profits from the or royalties.
It'll be part of the negotiation before
Right.
the ink's dry and before they start filming, right? And it's the same thing that needs to happen on the development side of things. And One Bad Mother said something interesting in the article they wrote, that the developers don't know exactly how much how many copies were sold, and that's true. Usually, like, developers are downstream of the actual sales numbers. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Publishers usually know.
So the publisher's going to know first. Well, the platform provider's going to know first, right? Then the publisher, and then management at the studio, and then from there, right? And so if you're counting on a bonus, you're just kind of sitting there with bated breath. And I would imagine, I know Dark works in the movie industry. I mean, I would imagine this, we're just talking about Scarlett and stuff like that. I would imagine she's downstream of all the numbers too, right? Like, she's not. She doesn't get the report first, right?
Well, she is also a producer on the film, so she does have some streaming of where those numbers are, but I think in
general they're downstream of that, right?
Yeah, I think she must have pissed somebody off. She had to have said something, did something that made somebody mad to where she would have to go to court for it. And that's the nature of the business. I mean, some actors and actresses are drama queens and some aren't, So.
Right. And that's the problem right there, is that with this whole situation, where we get back to what we're talking about, like, Game Pass is not even involved in this. Like, for people or the media that was trying to bring Game Pass into this, they already got the bag. Square Enix already got the bag, and whatever Square Enix did with that money, because I'm assuming that if
they may not have to pay out any of it.
Right. Like that's what I'm saying.
They may have the opportunity to pocket all of it, and here's the harsh reality is, people can fly know how many people have logged on to the game, how many individual users. So they're basing their numbers off of that, which is Game Pass and sales combined, right? So they have an idea, but they just don't know how it all pans out. I think that's one of the things when people talk about Game Pass and this situation, like we just don't know what they're entitled to. We don't know what their contracts are. We don't know any of that stuff, right? But there's a little bit of speculation, and I'm sure they're raising an eyebrow because they're looking at numbers behind the scenes. They looked at what their contract tells them they're entitled to. So there's a lot of different stuff that are involved. There's a lot of question marks, I guess, is what it comes right down to it. So
Yeah, no,
And one thing I'm not sure about is talking about royalties here, right? We're not talking
Mhm.
about okay, so yeah, I mean like the same thing with the film and like royalties come out of however much something has made. So we don't know if
well,
Square felt,
depends
you
on the
know,
speculation because certain times there's goals tied to it, right? So
right,
I don't know how the
exactly,
movie
yeah.
industry is. I can tell what the goals are in a game. It's usually like Metacritic scores are part of it, review scores, that sort of thing.
Yeah, here
And,
it's
on
more
top
like
of
how
certain
much it made.
sales within a certain period of time.
Yeah,
And then there's a back end royalty sometimes that can be negotiated, the lifetime
right.
sales of the product, that sort of thing. But
Right.
and then there's additional bonuses if certain goals are hit and stuff like that. So like, every contract's a little bit different, but in general, that's kind of the formula. That's the recipe is a little bit more this, a little less that all the time, but that's pretty much how that stuff works. Even
Right.
as a independent contractor, sometimes I've gotten royalty from that. And it's usually not something that you tend to get in regards to that, but
Right.
they brought those sort of things as part of the deal versus just paying me up front, that sort of thing, some sort of royalties on the back end. So
Yeah, no. Well, go ahead, Dark. What was you going to say about what was going on within the industry? What was your side of how you looked of how people got paid or whatever? Because I'm looking at what their mother's saying in here too, and
Yeah.
but go
Um.
ahead.
Uh, on this side, it's a little different. It's usually Rotten Tomato scores or um Metacritic score, things like that, or um a lot of it has to do with how much the film made as well. Like the biggest part is how much the film is made on this end. Um
so it's net profit.
and right, if it profits, then you're going to get some royalties. But if it doesn't profit and it's just it breaks even, you're not going to get any of that money. You're not going to get anything. And a lot of times that's where we don't see sequels. We don't see you know additions to films because they didn't either make enough, or how sometimes you watch a movie, you're like, oh, they set it up for a sequel. There's gonna be a sequel, and then we never see a sequel. It's
Yeah,
because it didn't make enough money.
just didn't make enough money, right?
And
Yeah,
everyone's kind of has to make money in that situation, right? So it has to be
Right,
like the actors, the
right,
director, the studio, because what happens is say the publisher in this particular case, like Paramount or whatever, right? They didn't make
hmm
enough money. They're not going to greenlight something. If the director didn't make enough money off of the bonus, they're not going to sign on, or key actor. So just like everyone's got to
right.
make their cut. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, really, it like the only ones who don't get typical royalties is like the crew, like people like the camera guy, the grips, things like that, people that are behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Um,
it's always the actors and directors that
yeah,
get the royalties.
yeah, the actors and the directors that get royalties if it's in their contract. That's the thing. Some
yeah,
actors and directors don't even have that in their contract. They just want to get paid up front, and that's it. And that's fine. I mean, I would want to get royalties, but some people don't care
yeah.
about that stuff. They just want to make films and
Shit, I want them
and
royalties,
be
son. I
stress
want
free.
that paper. I want it
Well,
all.
sometimes with royalties comes stress though too.
Right,
it
because if it
does.
doesn't do good,
So
then you gotta, that you kind of, because you're betting on
right,
yourself and you're betting on the the game or the movie to be successful enough to generate those royalties. But yeah, and then again,
right,
when you look, yeah, so I get it. One bad mother made a lot of great points, but he was saying like, look, he says the devs probably not happy if the publishers got the big bag from Microsoft. that they get no royalties from, not necessarily about whether it impacted sales, right? And I think that's where this is coming from. I think that because they didn't say anything about Game Pass. That was the media, and that was the thing to me where it's like, look, they're trying to make it public. Like, look, we feel like we got hosed because maybe they found out how much Microsoft gave them. You know what I'm saying? So, and then Square Enix is like,
Yeah, but it's not part. It can be, we're making speculations
and
here,
that
but
wasn't, and that
they
wasn't in
could
your
be.
contract. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Like, these are the things I'm starting to try to pay attention to in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because let's say I go with, say EA says, you know what, I like what you're doing, Don. Finally, I'm to a point where I feel comfortable bringing on other staff, and they go, all right, here's the deal. We'll front you this much money. Here's the contract. You get this much percentage of the royalties as founder of the company, all that sort of stuff. And then they go, but then they go ahead and say release it on their own Origin service, right? And and I'm like, well, that wasn't part of my contract. They just did whatever the hell they wanted to in that situation, and there's nothing saying they couldn't have done that. I'm not entitled to that money because I didn't negotiate it. That's the harsh reality, and that's on me if that comes down to it. So
yeah, no, I mean it's pretty cut and dry. I thought that like we made a lot of great points on next podcast about it Thursday. I mean, I definitely wanted to hear what Kelly and Don had to say about it, but this is something that's internal. This isn't something that has to do with Game Pass hurting or affecting sales like that or anything, or that was just crazy. Anyway, all right, so we can just move on from that. Now we're gonna get our PlayStation brothers involved deeply. Come on now. All right. Ghost of Tsushima or Tushima, however you want to say it, however I say it. Let me be country. I don't care, right?
Or it could just say Ghost of Sushi.
Okay, you can say that. I mean,
Isn't that what Crispy calls it? Ghost of Sushi, or who calls it that? Someone calls it that in this community.
I don't know who calls it that. I don't. But let's see. Hold on. Let me. Hold on. I gotta check and see if my soundboard works. Hold on. Watch. I hit the soundboard and everything is gonna break.
Oh man, don't do it.
Hold on. Let's see.
Don't touch anything.
Yeah, man, you're gonna break the stream.
Something ain't right.
Oh, it's back.
Betrayal.
Oh man, that's what
that's actually not a soundboard. That's just KMEGA.
That is.
That's just how his voice is.
Okay, all right. So Cooney, what's okay? She said Tsushima. No country out loud. All right, okay, Tsushima. So it's Ghost of Tsushima. Did I say that right? Is it right?
Tsushima, yeah.
Tsushima. All right, listen. I'm not from Japan. I don't know. I mean, listen, I love the game. I think the game.
You played the game, right? I mean, they say it in the game.
Man, I'm all about what's trying to kill that
game
big
as
ass,
like the Ghost of California roll.
Mongolian, man. That's all my point. Trying to get some revenge against that big ass Mongolian, and then dealing with my uncle. That's it. That's all I was caring about. But anyway, all right. So Ghost. Oh, okay, so I ain't gonna even say it. All right. So the director's cut of this game is getting ready. Is it already out? I think it's already out because I've seen people.
It's already out. Yeah.
All right.
It came out. It came out yesterday.
All right. It came out yesterday. At $70, if you have not played this game, if you haven't got it, you know what I'm saying, I would recommend you go get it. It's $70. I mean, for the content that you're getting, I would say go for that. If you are a person like me that paid $80, I don't know. I got a little problem with you asking me to pay another $30 just to play the game.
The upgrade path's not free. It's a charge thing.
It's $30.
It's $30. It's $30, and so my problem. Well, I should say I already explained that I have a problem with it. But do you guys have a problem with it? And how do you feel like? Because if this is clearly what Sony wants to do. Do you think that this is fair to the consumers that already bought, let's say, not the $60? Well, I mean, yeah, even if you bought the game previously, because the game is delisted, you can't go and get the game off of the PlayStation Store anywhere. So do you think that this is fair practice from Sony to do this to people who are already purchased the game? And having to pay extra to this extent, or do you think this is just business as usual? I'm gonna start with you, Pally. What is your thoughts about this, man?
I mean, I can understand where people like come from when they're upset about having to pay an extra like $60 if they want to upgrade it, or like if they want to go down a 30 route. But from my point of view, is that it's not just like updates that they add to the game, but also like new story content and a new island. So that's kind of where it splits me, because I mean, you get new content in it, so I mean, it
Well-
could have been DLC that's separated.
It's only $20 for the DLC.
Yeah.
It's an extra $9.99 to upgrade it to the PS5 version.
So if you want all of it, you have to pay $30. Is what you're saying.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think
Don said
paying
that-
for the upgrades. I think
Don
paying
said
for the
that with his
upgrades
folding
alone.
his arms. I can see Don leaning back, folding his arms when he said that.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Callie. I'm sorry.
I think paying for the upgrades is kind of where I draw the line. Like, it should be free. I mean, Insomniac, when they updated Spider, like Miles Morales, like all those updates were free.
Mhm.
Like, especially with the more recent update where they introduced like the 1080p with ray tracing, 60 FPS, that was completely free. You don't have to pay for that. But I don't know. I feel like Sony's just trying to milk as much as they can out of Ghost of Tsushima, since like it already.
He needs some milk.
No, I'm sorry.
You just
Yeah.
gotta power through it, Callie, man. You just gotta
Just
ignore it like
power
it didn't
through it,
happen, man.
man.
You just keep going.
Yeah, okay.
We're gonna be podcasting soon. I gotta get you started, man. Yeah, I do that through you,
Yeah,
brother. I do it through you.
You just gotta pretend it didn't happen. Just go
yeah.
for it.
Just
Yeah.
keep rolling.
Just do what we do on Next and just tell them to shut up.
Right, yeah.
All right, shut up, KMEGA.
All right, I got you.
Give it about a month. You'll feel a little more comfortable.
You'll feel okay.
Oh.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like the update should have been free, and that's where I'm like with people. Like, the updates should be free, and like just charge for the content itself.
No, I agree.
But the $60 thing approach, I feel it's also bullshit, because they're just trying to push people to buy that instead who haven't bought Ghost of Tsushima already.
What's the $60 thing? It's just the whole game and everything.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay.
It's
So
Yeah.
if you haven't,
Yeah.
so you haven't bought it, you can buy that, and that will give you everything.
Right.
Okay.
right.
All right.
Yeah. So okay.
I-
All right.
I'm getting
I mean, that's
updated
fair.
live here.
That's fair. No, yeah, no, but that's fair. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want people to understand that there's some PlayStation guys out there that are fair, that understands. Listen, it's not all about it's Ghost of Tsushima, it's go here, it should be whatever, So, and that's a fair point. I can rock with that. So, Dart, what about you, man? Where are you at? I know heard a little bit what you said on next podcast, but let the listeners of GRG know how you feel about this situation.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, for me personally, I think that it's just business, like, and they want to make as much money as they can. I mean, yeah, is it screwing over the consumer? Yeah, probably. Yeah, more than likely. But I mean, they already did the upgrade for the PS4 to the PS5. And from what it seems like from what Digital Foundry, they didn't really change anything from that update that would warrant you to buy the $30 version of the director's cut. But I checked to see if I could buy just the DLC, and I can't on my PS5.
Oh
can't.
man, are you serious?
Yeah. So
they
I would
walled you off.
I
from
would have
that?
had to have pre-ordered it already in order to have it. So at least from what I see, I can't buy just the DLC. Unless somebody finds out that I can. I mean, that would be great. I mean, if anybody can look it up and see if there's a possibility I could do that. But from checking yesterday, I could only pay the $30 to get the upgrade to Iki Island, which for me isn't. I mean, I've paid $30 for DLC before, anyways. Like the Spider-Man one, I paid $30, I think it was, and I enjoyed it. I mean, but it also with with that $30, I got I got 1 episode, 2 episodes, 3 episodes with that. So it was like, but I guess in the time frame, it was kind of like 2 to 3 hours each for that DLC. So and apparently that this one's only like 6 hours for the main story of it. So I
Come on,
mean,
man. Come on, man. Yeah, come on. Don't do that. I thought it was 17 hours. Come on. I thought it was
it,
17
it
hours.
it is 17. It is 17 hours or 20 hours of content, but that's side stuff, things like that, things that they that's not the main storyline.
So that's if you milk it. You
Right.
basically you get that
Milking
much
it. Right.
versus beeline straight through the game.
Right.
So
Beelining straight through the game.
so if you just playing the actual just story part, it's 6 hours for $30. But if you
Something
already
like
paid,
that.
if you
Yeah.
already paid 80, that'd be 110.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel for you, Mega, because you did pay that $80, right out the gate when you first got the game. So yeah, paying an extra $30 for you is like, but when I paid for it, I paid 60. So I'm
Right.
like, I'm thinking to myself, like, I could, get the DLC, but I'm still gonna wait until, it's on sale or something like that, or it's just because there's so much stuff to play right now, man. It's and going back to DLC is like it's hard for me to do that. I can't go back and play a DLC of a game. I mean, yeah, I am playing Ghost of Tsushima a little bit here and there, but that's just to get just to get my filler of samurai shit. But am I gonna go and play the game all over again? No. Like I'm not gonna do that. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is something that concerns me for the future of PlayStation. Um, if they continue to go down this route, I don't know how many people are really gonna be like, you know, wanting to invest, into certain games. Some people might be like, well, I'm not gonna pay an extra this much for this, or whatever. I know it's only their older games. I know it's only their PS4 games right now, but who knows? Later on down the line, it might be their PS5 games. Like where let's just say Demon Souls, or something like that. Or well, maybe let's not say Demon Souls. Ratchet and Clank. Let's say Ratchet and Clank, right? Came out $70, right? And then 4 years or 3 years or 3 years down the line, they're like, hey, we're coming out with a director's cut. We really got to see how we're going to feel about that when that happens, if that happens.
Pretty seen it with Kojima's game with Death Stranding. There's a director's
Yeah.
cut coming there.
Well, there's a director's cut coming there, but that was I'm talking about like their actual PS5 games. So
I got you. Yeah,
Ratchet and Clank, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, when that comes out, like, if they do a director's cut 3 years from now or a year from now, how are people going to feel at that point? We'll see. I mean, are they going to add more DLC? Are they going to add things that really want you to go back in and play it? And how much is that going to be? So I don't know where they're going with this type of thing, but I'm not really keen. I mean, I'm not keen. I'm not. How do you say it? I'm not.
Sure.
I don't like it. Let's just say I don't really like it. I'm not a fan. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. So yeah.
All right. Well, Don, what do you, since this is kind of like your first time hearing about this or whatever, because I know that some people might be on here like, man, what, he didn't hear about this, but yeah, Don don't be paying attention to the
And yeah, a lot of
like
the
that.
conversation in the community, like it's just
Don
I have different
Don
concerns.
lives on a hill and he flies an eagle to work. So that's you got to understand. He's got a different type of dude.
covered in cheese. Nothing more American than that, right?
And yeah, nothing more American than that. He said, okay. Anyway, the damn fool. All right. So, what is your thoughts about this, man? I mean, would this be something that would you invest into? Let's say that you bought Ghost of Tsushima, right? Tsushima. I think I said that right. All right.
Okay, Tsushima.
Yeah, and you already paid for it. You got the 60. You got a PlayStation 5, and then they ask you for another $30 for the content. Would you think that that's okay, appropriate, or I mean, where are you at on this from what you've heard from all different perspectives?
I think from the upgrade perspective, it doesn't upset me, but what I think it falls into the problem of the free market, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when your competition's doing other things, people are just going to start passing up on that, right? You may get, the white whale kind of customers that just will spend to spend, right? But at the end of the day, there's a good portion of people that are going to start doing the math and start comparing. They're like, well, wait, what? You know what I mean? You're charging me for this upgrades for this console, and then along those lines. And then you got the other issue is that Sony wants to release a lot more of their products on PC. It's going to happen. It's just not going to happen day and date. And then, how do you think this patch is going to fly on PC? I don't think it's going to, right? So they're going to have to try to generate those sales. And I think eventually that sort of thing self-corrects itself, if that makes any sense. It may take some time, but it doesn't really worry me. Would I pay for the upgrades? No, I just would pass on the game. I just feel like, that's just not treating me as a customer.
That's where I'm at, yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean I hate the game or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I'm interested in the game, but you have to make it enticing, and feel like I've been treated fairly, in regards to that. And especially when you talk, as I said, once you start doing the PC market, and if they have to start doing different practices for PC than they do PlayStation, ooh man, then you're gonna start hearing people, complain a lot more. Does that make sense?
So, yeah, let's just think that they have like when Ghost of Tsushima go to PC,
because that's what I'm waiting. Generally, that's what I'm personally waiting for right now.
Oh man, and they come with all the bells and whistles, and it's just $60 or $50. Yeah, that will get some people pretty hot.
People are gonna remember what they spent, and maybe they'll have buyer's remorse. Maybe they won't care because they had fun or whatever it may be. There be a list of what people will do, but there obviously. I mean, you saw it with Microsoft, right? When Microsoft would do something different for the PC gamer that the console gamer didn't get, the console gamer go, what the hell, right? And they're more closely in line with one another business model wise, right? So imagine if Sony starts saying like, well, we're gonna have to do things differently because if we want to capture this market and profit from it, we're gonna have to buy what the free market is doing, right? And so that's what's going to end up happening, and I think that's going to be a good thing for the PlayStation guys in general. But I think in the meantime, I don't think it's sustainable. If it's just content, like say, hey, some story content, and people have to judge for what's the value worth it for them or not, like I haven't played the game, so I don't know when you say X number of hours and what side missions are. I don't have a point of reference of like how much value that has for me as an individual, right? So I $20 seems like a fair price, but I just don't know. $10.
Actually, you would have a better deal than the people who actually bought it on PlayStation.
Yeah, and that's all. Yeah, and let me ask you this too. So like, it's really weird too when you paid for, I call it the shut up edition, right, of a game. Like, how about I just give you all the money you're asking for, and how about you just stop asking me for more money?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I call those the shut up editions. So like the nicest edition from
that's what I thought the $80
nicest edition version, and then you find out later it doesn't include something. Then it's frustrating, right? I can use like Forza Horizon for example, right? You can buy the shut up edition, and it comes with all the DLCs, right? So I don't have to think about it. Right. But if I had to spend that much money and then I have to spend it again, that's when I would be a little bit more frustrated. So like, I mean, then again, and you're leaving the gamer to try to figure it out. That's the other frustrating thing. Like they have to go do the math. So I get what with this and try to figure it all out. So that's just kind of, I don't know. They could manage it better. I feel like all the upgrades will fix itself over time. To be honest with you, because I think competition in the free market, doing different things, really will drive that towards the direction where I think everyone feels like they should be receiving that for free. And I think that's how you should do it. And I think that stuff will work itself out. But they're just trying to figure out new business models. Microsoft did the same thing at the beginning of the Xbox One generation. And certain things are going to work, certain things are not going to work. So,
No, I totally agree
Well,
with that.
KMEGA with
Yeah.
the $80 version, guarantee the DLC with that.
No, I didn't know that there was DLC coming.
Okay.
The only thing that I heard was that they were doing a free multiplayer, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. But I assumed that, like, I was like, well, you would think that they would do some kind of DLC, but they never announced it until just pretty much when they announced this version. And that's what gets me upset, because like for games that I really want to play, or the games that I really want to support, which I support. I thought I got the Shut Up edition. I'm going to use that from now on. I'm going to steal that from you, Don. I got the Shut Up
I'm going to
edition.
start making. I'm already making the new T-shirt now.
Yeah.
I'm set.
I got the Shut Up edition, and I was like, hey, it's. Yeah, that's whatever that they, because this was the max that they had other than the collectors. And I know people who bought the collectors edition, and they're not going to be rewarded for their support for this game, for this new IP, and being told, well, I paid $500 for this console. I support you for this new console. I'm supporting you for this new game at its highest price. And this is how you reward me, by saying that I still have to pay more for this console's features that I already thought that I paid for. And now for a game that I sit there and paid this much for, you're saying I still got to pay more for that. That's bullshit. I am not buying it. I am not buying it. I ain't doing it. I ain't spending a goddamn dime on that. That is infuriating to me. The more I'm thinking about it, the more angry I'm getting. It's like, how
I think some of these.
How dare you come at me like that? Like, how are you going to sit here and try to charge me more money? Like, I get, like, somebody was trying to make a comparison about Gears. Well, with Gears, you had to pay the $20 for Hive Busters. No, I didn't have to pay for anything, because you know what? I bought, even if I did, I bought the Ultimate Edition. And so I bought the Ultimate Edition of Gears. For the people who just got Game Pass, yeah, if you want to technically say that they paid for it because they got to pay for it because they're paying for Game Pass, that's fine. But you always overlook that all the other stuff that you get within Game Pass, you always want to focus on that one particular thing. I got the Ultimate Edition, and I got the majority of everything that they offer. Now, when you talk about like skins or for other characters that they introduce later on, well, that should be included too. No, not necessarily, because for the stuff that they want to offer you, that they give you, it's robust. Then they also give you a whole bunch of points and all these other things when you bought the Ultimate Edition. Hive Busters came free. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to pay for anything with Hive Busters. And on top of the fact that I've had Game Pass since 2018 without paying a dime. Now, listen, some people might say, well, and you don't have to go to E3 for that. All you had to do was just basically use Microsoft Bing or the Microsoft Rewards. There's always ways to get around to get your hustle on and just play some games. If people talk about games so much, then they need to play them, and then you don't have to pay for Game Pass. It's just that simple. But what I'm looking at, what Sony is trying to do for me, is provide for me. It's like, look, you want me to buy your new console, you want me to support this new IP. I did that. I'm doing this, and you're still trying to charge me more. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to. There's a limit. There is a limit.
I think they're hoping that we forget. Like sometimes with that they do this shit too, where they'll put out the movie, right, and then like a year or two later they'll put out a special edition.
Oh
you know,
yeah.
like a special edition movie, you know, and they're like, well, shit, I just bought the movie like a year or two ago. Now I gotta, you know, now you're thinking to yourself like, do I want the special edition just so I could see the extra 15 minutes that they put into the movie, you know?
Gotcha.
And yeah, they got you there. And I think they hope that we forget, you know, for those
Mhm.
things, you know, and it's like, no, we don't forget. We remember these things.
No.
I
Right.
mean, majority of us don't forget, but I think there are some people who just forget and they're just like, oh yeah, yeah, okay, whatever, you know, and you're entitled to spend your money the way where however you want. I mean, you know, and if you don't want to spend the money on the DLC for Ghost of Tsushima, you're
Mhm.
absolutely entitled to do that,
Right.
you know, and no one can say, oh, you didn't support the game. You did. You supported the game when it first came out, and that's good enough because if you didn't support the game when it first came out, we wouldn't probably even have this DLC.
No,
So,
no. Yeah, that's the thing. And to me, it's like, okay, and I'm not even mad at how they're trying to finesse people with the whole extra little $10 because they want to talk about like, oh, you get this with the haptic features and all that. I get you, I got you. But it still to me is that when I paid more money than a new adopter to make this game get off to get this game to get off the ground, to be where it's at, to where it can have success, you know, the DLC, to have DLC, you're going to tell me that, oh, well, this person could pay another 70 or $60. And you know what? You just go ahead and pay this
Yeah,
30. You'll
their
be good.
pockets are deep. Don't worry about it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Right, right,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
So it's
No, man.
you know,
No,
yeah.
no,
It's
but
you
okay.
need to label it the shut up edition.
Yeah,
Just
right.
stop asking me for shit. And I'll just
Mhm.
give you the money up front now. I like your shit, and let me play it,
Let
right?
me just play it.
What
Right.
is it going to cost? Just let me know how much it's going to cost, so I can figure out if I can pay it or not. Like, you know, that's all you're asking as a consumer. I think that's pretty reasonable, to be honest with you. So
Right. And that's the one thing about free to plays that I hate the most is that they don't well until later, until years later, if they I guess if they're really popular, they'll have a shut up edition. And so I won't mind buying that. But I'm so reluctant to some free to plays because you jump in and then you're like, come on, man. They're nickel and dime you to death, and then next thing you know, you're paying three, four, quadruple times the money than what you would if you got a game for
so let me
$60.
ask you this: that there, okay, Mega. So if you were offered the let's say Ghost of Tsushima 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a PS5, you obtain one, and then say PlayStation 6 is around the corner,
Yeah.
right? Or a mid-gen relaunch, right? Would you be reluctant to buy the more expensive version because you're not getting these features right off the bat, or you know that, hey, you're rolling the dice and they may not give those to you? Does that
Oh
make
yeah, no,
sense?
I'm going to be very
So you,
reluctant. That's the
so
thing.
you look
Yeah.
at Sony a little bit differently, and the
Mm-hmm.
way I look at it too is, say somebody that's, you know, not savvy, they're not like, they can't differentiate between Sony and EA and you know, all these companies, because there's a lot of gamers that are like that. They're like, well, then they'll be reluctant with other publishers to buy their nicer editions because they had a bad experience, say, with what Sony did, right? And so these things have repercussions to them, and so, you know, my hope is just they fall under peer pressure, because there is a market value that gives more value to the consumer out there, and so hopefully they fall to that over time. It's just going to take a little time to get there. Hopefully, you know, next couple of years or so, they'll figure it out. So
Yeah, no doubt about that. I know. I didn't want to get angry about it, but man, just thinking about it, like man, y'all finesse me. Y'all got me. That's cool. Um, but you know, and I think the worst part about it, because I really enjoy the game. I loved it. I think it's it was the best game of last year. I just like, man, I want to jump in it, but pride and then also just feel a little neglected for being an early adopter supporter. That to me is like, and listen, if Xbox tried to pull some craziness like that by saying, oh man, this new Halo or Fable or whatever, that's go let's say Forza 5, right? Oh man, we're gonna have to charge you that extra $10, man, because of these that new SSD feature, or the smart delivery feature. What, man, come on. That to me is just like, I get the companies need their money, and they're gonna and this all that's what it's all about at the end of the day. But then there's just some things that just kind of like just reeks of, you know, I'm nothing, it's just
Of
something.
greed stench, right?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
that's yeah, and that just is sickening to me. Like I get it. There's a corporation. They don't. I'm just a number, but
I mean,
damn,
everyone's
don't
there
make
to
me
make
that
money.
bad.
Like
Yeah,
I get it, but like the same token, it's not. You can't be tone deaf to what's going on around you. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, then that's what it is. All right, so we got two more, and then we'll be done. All right, so let's talk about Game Pass right there, because this was pretty much like last week's big hoopla, but of course, I've been on my little hiatus, so I definitely wanted to address this. Now, I've seen people just kind of bringing up about Game Pass, how it's crazy how many people fear this service, when in all actuality it is such a great value. I would, I mean, just think about how good it is for young kids these days, and for parents who don't have that money to buy games, because kids are that there's a lot of kids that's invested and want to play this game, that game, this game, but then you got Game Pass right there available for you. Just think about how good it is for a kid right now to have this type of service available. Any of us in that era would have loved that. I mean, we thought that Blockbuster was the best thing ever. So, I mean, this is just the next level. But there are people that are actually out here thinking that Game Pass is tarnishing the gaming industry and actually hurting the industry. So I'm going to go straight to you on this one, Dart. What do you think, man? Is this something that you think that is going to make the gaming industry go another direction that we as gamers don't want it to go? Is it going to be that bad?
Game Pass is the devil.
Satan incarnate, huh?
I didn't know.
Damn.
I didn't know he was from the South, man.
I didn't know.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
Oh my god. Oh man.
No, honestly, man, I don't get the hate with Game Pass. I mean, I could see if it was a lot of, I could see if we were seeing a ton of AAA games going through here and not making the money that they should be making, I could see that being the case. But a lot of this stuff is like indie stuff or things that have been old and have been out for a long time now. The only things that we've had that have been day and date with Game Pass that were third party were MLB The Show and Outriders. So I mean, time will tell to see if this model works for third party. But I mean, that's the thing. There's always going to be pros and cons to it because some people will gravitate towards it because it's in Game Pass and be like, oh well, it's in Game Pass, try it out, and then they're like, I love this game, and then they'll buy it. There's really a difference between, especially like let's take an example of Tales of Arise or something like that. If that went
Yes.
into Game Pass day one, if that went in,
download that demo right now. Go ahead.
oh dude, that demo's fucking fire, dude.
Love it,
Oh
man.
my
It looks
god,
so
dude,
good. I've seen people post, I'm like, I
dude,
gotta
it's
get it.
good.
We'll do it. Okay, go
Tru-
ahead. I'm sorry.
Trust me, you are gonna love it. It definitely, like, if it went into Game Pass, I could see a lot of people being like, wow, this is a really good game. I'm gonna buy this game. Especially a lot of Xbox gamers, I could see just being like, oh yeah, I'm definitely buying this game. Even though it's in Game Pass, I'm still gonna buy it. It's just, that's the thing. Time's gonna really tell when we start seeing more party games going in there, to see if that model is a good model for the third party exclusive, third party things. But I think for where Microsoft wants to take it, it's great. Honestly, I mean, I think what they're what they're doing is they're putting all their games that they have day and date with Game Pass. Not everything's going in there, but that's because those games aren't made by Microsoft. They're made by a different publisher or a different developer. Like Death's Door is didn't go into Game Pass right away because it's not made by Microsoft themselves. They just have a really good relationship with Microsoft, and they and Microsoft wanted a game to come out for Xbox and PC. So I think at the end of the day, it's a really good service, man, and especially like if you are on the fence of buying an indie game or buying a game that you saw 10 years, or not 10 years ago, but maybe like a couple years ago, that you're like, I didn't really get it at the time, and then you just completely forgot about it, and then it's in Game Pass, and you're like, oh, it's in Game Pass, I can go out and try it. My biggest issue is with people being like, is that game going to be in Game Pass? No. Oh, well, then I'm not even gonna worry about it. That's my biggest issue, is because why are you gonna, especially if it's a game that you really want to play, and I know some of these dudes really want to play these games, right? But they're waiting until Game Pass gets it, and it's like, I don't get that, because it's like it could
Don't
come
think
to Game Pass.
they're not waiting for. Well, we all have backlogs, so maybe they're just like,
Yeah.
well, I'll play something else for now, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
I mean, it could be part of that too, but I don't look at it like as a service to where I get every game and I can play it and I don't have to buy anything else. I look at it as a service of, oh, I can try that game, and if I like it, I can buy it because I know that game's not always going to be in there, except for of course the first party Microsoft games. But I know a lot of those games aren't going to be there forever, so I can play it. And if I beat it while it's still in Game Pass, I'm not going to go out and buy it, because I mean it's it's still there. But if it's something that I'm like, I know I'm going to spend a ton of hours in, then yeah, I'm gonna buy it at some point, because it's just I get that all the time. Like some people are just like, oh well, is it going into Game Pass? I'm just like, I hate that question because it's like, because I already know the answer to the question when they ask that, and when I say no, I know exactly what's gonna happen. They're gonna be like, oh well, I'm not gonna buy that game then. I'll just wait until it goes to Game Pass. I'm just like, that frustrates me. I don't know.
frustrates you. Well, I mean, listen, this is the one thing about it, and I appreciate it, Neighborhood Blue Shell. I will definitely get to your super chat, man. Really do appreciate it. Here in a hot second, but I do want to make this point. There's a lot of people that cap about like their status, right? Like I don't ever come out here and try to brag about what I got.
You're talking about
what
flexing, right?
Yeah, they flex about the money they get and what games they can buy like that. I'm fortunate for anything that I can get, and that God
Right.
bless me with a roof over my head. I got the internet, and now I got and the podcast is working right now, so I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm humble about any little giving thing. If somebody like for Sleepy Goblin hooked me up with
KMEGA's like, I am the
Surround
most
Wi-Fi.
humble.
I am. I'm very humble. I am. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Even if you know what I'm saying. I mean, that's just one of the things to me. It's like I don't have a problem with people that boast. I mean, of course, I mean, we have people on the show that likes to boast and talk and stuff like that. That's fine. It is what it is. I'm just saying. But there's a lot of people that cap too damn much about Game Pass, knowing that if that was on PlayStation or Nintendo or PC, it would be a no-brainer. Like, listen, it is the value in it is real, and you can't. And listen, you can't buy all these games. I mean, there's some people that can. I can't buy all these damn games. That's just drop. Like, look, we got Call of Duty coming out. We got Battlefield coming out. We got Tales of Arise. We have the something Republic. I forget that game from Ubisoft that looks really.
Life is Strange, True Colors.
Life
we
is
got
Strange, True Colors. But no,
Yeah.
because my wife is gonna want that for sure. But
like I got to keep that one quiet.
Anyway, but I mean, and then you got Far Cry 6. You got Dying Light 2. You got that's just 7 games that I mentioned. Not to talk about the games that came out earlier this year that weren't on Game Pass. You know, and NBA 2K, Madden. Like, come on, man. Like that. Listen, there's been times that I've spent that much on games, and that's thousands of dollars. And then you look back, and then you over here saying, "Oh shit, I forgot to pay this damn light bill." You know what I'm saying, or a water bill or something. And you're just like, "Oh well, this is great for just putting back." Like, not everybody has bread like that to just get it. And so why should people ridicule people for this for a service that helps them to be able to play a lot of games? I just don't get it, because that's the whole point of the matter, is to try to get people to get out of their box of just playing the same 3 to 5 games that they play a year. You know what I'm saying? That's what Game Pass, I think, is for. But I do agree with you when people say, "Oh man, I just wait for Game Pass." That's the same people to me that reminds me, like, I'm not gonna go to the movies. I'm just gonna watch this on Kodi. Like, come on, bro. At least go to the movies and watch this.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Don't, at least give the movie industry something. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. What do you?
Yeah, that Kodi thing definitely ruined a lot of movies that could have seen sequels, or could have gotten a lot.
Shut your mouth right there, Optimus. I like that. I like that right there.
You like Kodi?
Yes.
Kodi is legit, but I
mean, you can like it. I think it's trash, but I mean, you like it.
But I mean, again, but see, that's just my thought. But I mean, I think Kodi is great for what it is. But
But Kodi's free. Game Pass isn't. That's the difference.
I know, and that's why I'll go. I wish I could go back to the movies, but because of all this pandemic stuff, I'm still nervous to go. But we got Black Widow. We paid that $30 for.
You need to drive in movie theaters.
Yeah. I need to do that. Hey, no,
that's your solution, man. You can just have your little COVID bubble right there,
I
man.
can't trust these people coming out here. I don't want my mask.
That's what I'm saying. You just live in that little. Man, you can pull out your minivan, go down to the.
No, that's all right. I'm good.
Go to the drive-through, man.
I still like to support to go to see movies and stuff like that. Now, I would have been pretty upset to go see Suicide Squad 2, and I understand there'll be people out there that don't like me saying that, but I thought it was but
That is blasphemy right there.
You thought it was what?
I thought it was alright. It was alright. It was too goofy for me in the beginning. Way too goofy for me in the beginning.
I don't feel the same way you do about it, like as in goofiness, but I feel like it was mediocre.
Yeah, it was. I liked the first one better.
You're both mediocre.
I thought the
exactly.
Villain, okay, hold on. Who was the better villain? A big ass starfish that threw stars out of his pits, or
you should have said spoiler alert.
Oh, was that? Oh, okay. I seen a big ass starfish on the.
Yeah, don't worry about it. KMEGA's talking about a shirt commercial. Deodorant. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I thought Enchantress was dope, but anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, going off topic. But
the fact that you downplayed Starro makes me disappointed that you can't make it.
It does. It makes me.
Come on, man. Come on.
You call yourself a comic book fan.
I
am.
Not. It got good at the
You are
end,
not.
But it's
I call bullshit on that.
KMEGA, man, that's what a villain looks like in California right there. Just
right.
pink starfish.
I gotta stop dealing with these West Coast cats, man. They wild, man.
I'm just saying, man. Out here in the middle of the country, man, we're more afraid of a big bad witch, man.
I'm afraid of a witch. I ain't afraid of no damn starfish. That shit be put.
Hey, we're afraid of a starfish because we never know when we're gonna go into the ocean. All right,
Right.
No,
Stop
Okay.
All right, man.
out there.
right. So
The
that
ocean be
nigga-
dangerous.
The ocean.
Yeah, we ain't nowhere near the ocean. That big ass starfish walk across here, that shit get cooked, man. People gonna be chopping that shit up, man. Ain't gonna do nothing to nobody. People,
Put it in the smoker.
Them big ass starfish start flying towards people, man. That people be catching that shit, put it on a vine, hanging that shit up to let it dry out. Everybody be having calamari like a motherfucker, boy.
Maybe you're having starfish jerky and shit.
Yeah, starfish jerky. Just poke out the eye, clean that shit off, man. We good to go. But then you talk about a witch. Now that's something different, son. Nah, we ain't dealing with that. People too spiritual out here. Oh my God. All right. Anyway. All right. I don't even know who. Do anybody else want to talk about the Game Pass situation before we move on to the next?
Man, I think it's just new, and people are going to have to figure it out, right? Publishers and developers alike, right? Like it has an impact on the industry. It's I think a net positive overall. But some people's games are not going to be right for it. Some are going to be, and it seems like it's continuing to grow. And there's continuous influx of games coming through. So I just think that the one thing is developers should negotiate their contracts a little bit better with publishers. That's my only worry, my only concern, because you don't want the studios disappearing, right? Because the publishers are just finding a workaround around a contract or something like that. So that's my only concern. But I think as we're in that cycle. How long has Game Pass been around? 3 or 4 years now.
About 4 years now, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's
shit.
well within to the development cycle of most games right now, right? So most developers are going to probably negotiate that stuff with their contracts. So
Yeah.
Great point. All right, so I do want to I wanted to talk about the Mortal Kombat thing, but we'll say that for Devin the Gamer, because that's pretty interesting to me with the WB game stuff. But there's still more information to be brought up. I know that Jeff Grubb brought up some interesting tidbits about Mortal Kombat 12 could be in production quickly or soon instead of Injustice 3 or rumors of the Marvel game or whatever that's going on, because WB games are looking to maybe sell them. But who knows? Callie, you were saying that there was some pushback from people that were saying that was false. So until we get some more information about that, hopefully by the time we do Devin the Gamer, we'll get to talk about that. But you damn right, Rain. I'm ready to see some of that MK versus KI. And you know what? I damn near almost forgot. I'm sorry, Neighborhood Friendly Bruce. I was talking about when they started talking about big ass starfish, I started thinking about having a good fish fry. So my bad. Let me read the super chat. Game Pass is the Warriors' Kevin Durant of gaming. Very good, but never gets the credit it deserves. Often hated by many opposing fans. Listen, you know what? KD is a beast. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but he's a traitor in my book. You know what I'm saying? Oklahoma Thunder for life.
Man, no,
right?
you
Durant-
know he
Durant's a
wasn't.
traitor?
He was never gonna go to the fucking playoffs if he would have stuck with OKC, dude. There's no fucking way. There's no way.
You don't even watch basketball. Don't start. He got to the finals with OKC.
Yeah, he got to the finals, but he didn't win a championship, so it don't matter.
And listen, that's
Yeah,
fine.
he'll definitely be at the Starfish Cookout. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. But it's the thing. The Durantula is a beast. My only thing with it is that, listen, don't lie to the people when you get off the plane after losing to Golden State and say, I can't wait to come back next year so we can get the job done. Because that's what he said. And then next thing you know, he's in Golden State. Side of the contract.
He figured he couldn't do it all by himself. Because he didn't have any other good players on that team.
Oh my God, the disrespect. Okay, but anyway, so aren't you a Lakers fan?
I am a Lakers fan.
Okay, so the person that you said that wasn't on the team is on the Lakers now, and this will probably be the only time ever in my life that I'll ever want to support the Lakers because of Westbrook. But other than that,
don't worry about Dark, man. They don't have actual cable television.
That's true. It's true. We only have streaming service.
Talking about.
But no, I definitely but no, KD is a beast, man. And you know what I'm saying? And only thing I say about the whole situation now is that I wish he just said, look, man, after they lost, it said, look, I just think it's time for me to go somewhere else. And then I would have respected that because he'd been in Oklahoma City for almost 10 years. So that's fine. But don't lie to the public and then do what you did. Lou, go to the team that you lost to, bro. That's like, you know, somebody whoop your ass, and then next thing you know, you want to be the little homie under him. That's that just done. I mean, I see people can fight, and then it doesn't matter who wins or loses or whatever if and you become friends. But if you just got your ass beat, you know, and then they talk trash about you, disrespect you, and then they was like, oh, man, you can be my little homie now. I mean, that's how I look at it. I don't know. But anyway, we talk about sports. We talk about movies. God dang, what is this new podcast anyway? All right, so last topic. Vanguard. The situation going on with Call of Duty. They took the Activision off of the trailer I seen, which, you know, they said that was a business decision, which was a smart business decision right now. All the news is coming about that. But after seeing this trailer, is this what got you? Is you guys hype? Is this what right here is the one? You got to get it day one. Do you think COD might be in, I won't say jeopardy because COD's going to sell like hotcakes regardless. But do you think that they could be overshadowed by Halo and by Battlefield coming up this year? Okay, all right, that's pretty.
I don't think so, because Call of Duty's always had that fucking mainstay power where, like, no matter when it releases against any game, other games have to move out of the way for it. And same goes for Battlefield. But the thing with Call of Duty is there's tons of fans that just like stay loyal to the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So I doubt it's gonna be like hurt Activision if it like doesn't sell well at first, because we all know it's gonna sell well.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I don't really care for it. wasn't really hyped because I don't get hyped for CGI trailers.
Listen to you.
I like to see actual gameplay.
That was gameplay, man. That was in game. It said, man.
That doesn't equate to gameplay. If I don't see a control on screen actually being used, that's not gameplay.
Disrespect is real. All right. What about you, Don? Where are you at on this, man? I mean, is this
Oh man, 5 minutes ago I just learned there's a new Call of Duty.
I
mean, that's kind of where I'm at, man. Like, Call of Duty is one of those games, like, and I've said this before, it's always been a filler game for me. It's been like, hey, if there's not enough good blockbusters for the holiday season, you know, I'll supplement my play schedule with a Call of Duty. But I mean, you know, like, maybe I pick out Call of Duty used to be once every couple of years. Now it's like once every 3 or 4 years, you know? Like, that's just, I didn't feel like I missed anything, you know what I mean? Because it's a whole new story and a whole new setting each time, so.
All right, I'm not even gonna knock that. Okay, so Dark, you're the one right here that's gonna be the. What about you, man? I mean, this right here. I mean, is there any chance that COD can be overshadowed by Halo and by Battlefield?
I mean, it's a possibility, but I don't think that's probably gonna. There's so many gravitate towards Call of Duty. Anything else?
So what is Vanguard? I'm watching it now. Is it the story?
World War II.
It's the story.
It's World War
II.
Yeah.
What it reminds me of is that they're going to try to do their own version of Band of Brothers. I mean, not Band of Brothers, but Bad Company.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what Bad Company was based on, though?
Yeah. Well, not they're going to try to put a little twist to it, but you know, because Bad Company is what's popular for them is that it's witty, it's funny. You know, a lot of people like the characters within it, and then, you know,
I mean, Call of Duty's been funny before. I mean, it doesn't take itself that seriously sometimes.
Yeah, but I keep saying Band of Brothers. a Bad Company is just different. It can be a comedy
It's like
if it wanted
putting
to
me
be,
and
but it's good,
KMEGA in
bro.
that situation, and we're fighting for our life. But there's
That would be on R. Kelly for sure, boy. That would
man,
be.
but we wouldn't be.
Oh
There'd
man.
be a lack of
Y'all
seriousness
killing me
between
with
me
this.
and Mega.
Yeah, that
So
would be
wait,
bad.
so Treyarch made this one, and they made Cold War last year. So they made Cold
Yeah,
War last
I
year
thought
and
it was
made
Sledgehammer that's making this one.
it was
no,
it was
because I
going to
saw
be. It was going
Treyarch.
to be. Okay,
Oh, okay.
So the story is it was going to be Sledgehammer, but because of certain circumstances that happened, where Activision pushed them off the project and decided to put Treyarch on it.
Damn.
Oh wow! So they're doing a game. Oh geez, man. I don't know.
You
I
don't think
mean, Treyarch's multiplayer is always better in my opinion because of the time to kill ratio on it. It feels a lot more like you have a chance to get somebody if if you're
So
in
flip the odds if someone's got the jump on you, sort of thing.
right.
Gotcha.
And this I don't know, man. I've been so sick and tired of back to World War II. I've been sick and tired of the old type of Call of Duties. Like I liked a lot. Like I thought Modern Warfare, I think it was 2018. I think when that one came out, I really like that one. I like the campaign. I like the multiplayer too, but of course that time to kill ratio is garbage. But the I'm ready for something sci-fi. Like
Like a
Halo.
Halo.
Yeah, like a Halo. So I mean, I think I'm gonna gravitate towards Halo more this coming winter. Then I mean, if it comes out, I mean, I don't know. We haven't had an announcement of a release
give it
date.
to
So
Gamescom. Gamescom,
yeah, I
they'll
know.
announce it then.
I hope they do announce it at Gamescom. And we get a release date and we know that it's coming and yeah. I had some interest in Battlefield, but I was like, I don't know, man. I'm just sick of these military type shooters. I know Fred probably is gonna hear that and be like, "Oh, how dare you!" But
Fred's
yeah,
gonna be extra
we
dirty
haven't.
on his I ain't gonna do that to you. That's between you and him on the next podcast. I'm not even gonna do that. The listeners that don't listen to the next podcast, like, what the hell is going on here? I ain't gonna do that to you, bro.
I'm just jonesing for Halo, man. I rather play Halo than any of that other stuff. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen a Halo game, so I mean, just give me Halo and that's it. That's all I need.
Oh, no doubt. All right, now there was an announcement that I did bring up last night at the beginning of the show, but I'll do it again. For all the members, for people who are members of the channel, send me you can do it through the community chat or you can send it to me through KMEGA at KMEGA4 on Twitter.
You should just do it through Discord.
Or Discord. You know what? I never promote GRG
I'm here
Discord
for you, man.
at all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Don. I never promote GRG Discord.
There you go.
Hey, come
Discord.
The Don promoting your Discord more than you.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm
That's usually how it goes with most things.
I need a manager, man. I'm gonna work on that here.
I'm your YouTube Sherpa. I only have like 200 followers on my channel, but don't worry about it.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, you gotta follow the Don too. But anyway, you can come to the GRG Discord and you can ask any questions that you want. And something that we talked about on the show. I've seen other podcasts do that, and I was like, you know what, that's a good thing to do because I think that to just show support for the people who show support and love back to you. So I definitely. But I will read what our boy Neighborhood Blue Shell said. He says he don't care about World War II shooters at all. Modern or sci-fi shooters is only for him. So yeah, I think COD is still going to sell. They're still going to rake the money. they're going to have more.
You
maps than
pre-ordered
they
it,
ever
didn't you?
have.
You already
No,
pre-ordered
I'm
it,
not
didn't
doing
you?
this. I'm not doing COD. You know why I'm getting
Okay.
away from COD? There's two reasons. One is because the whole thing that they was doing, the whole thing they were doing with females and stuff like that. And then like on the episode of GRG, man, when I had Delilah,
But you got to remember that
Dig.
wasn't Activision. That was Activision. So
Right.
it
But
was a separate entity.
no, I know. But it's still the fact that they were passionate about it. They were hurt. And I was like, I can't,
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I got love for the ladies, man. I can't, so and then my second reason is that those files are too damn big, man. They take up too much space. I got Modern Warfare and I got Cold War. And then when you put on Warzone, it's 690 gigs of
I know, man.
That's ridiculous.
I
No,
know.
man.
That reminds me, the new Call of Duty, isn't that like 258 gigabytes or something?
By the time that you have Warzone, I'm pretty sure it will be. Yeah. So you're talking about if I bought Vanguard on top of the other CODs that I have, which is Modern Warfare and Cold War, you're talking about that would take up damn near the whole SSD. You know what I'm saying? That that's crazy.
You would need that. You would need that external SSD just for Call of Duty.
Just for that, right? Like I would have to erase all the games that's on my external just for that. I ain't doing it. So, no, I'm good. I'm good. So that's my second reason. But yeah, no, I don't think that it's going to be, it's going to still sell well, but I do feel that Halo is still going to do fantastic because people do forget that it's going to be free to play. That's a game changer for them. And then Battlefield.
Well, it's also on more platforms too. That's another big one.
Right. And then Battlefield is what people have been waiting for. Because I saw the alpha or beta or whatever that was, and it looked hideous. It looked bad.
So wait, their multiplayer is free to play?
Who? No, Battlefield? No. Battlefields won't. But I'm saying that that community.
No, Call of Duty.
Oh no, Call of Duty's not going to be free to play. Oh well, the Warzone's going to be free to play. That's free to play.
Okay.
But not the game itself. So, but yeah, the issue that's going on with Battlefield, a lot of people not issue, but Battlefield's going to have that old look. It had that old Battlefield 4 look, man. They're really going all out for that. So I know people are going to go crazy for that. The only thing that they just won't do, that we hope that they don't do, is come out with a broken mess, especially like they did with Battlefield 4, because they shouldn't have too many excuses because it's just a multiplayer game. It's not got nothing.
Was Battlefield 4 broken?
Battlefield 4 was bold.
I thought that was.
Battlefield 4 was. Let me put it like this: I bought my Xbox One, and I wanted to get Battlefield. I couldn't afford it because I bought like 4 games, and I was like, I'll get it eventually. So I went to the game store and I seen it on sale, and I was at the sales rack at GameStop, and I was like, oh snap! That was only 3 months later, and it was like $19. That's how broken it was. And when I took it home, I was like, oh, I got in and I played the first game and online, and it played fine. And I was like, why in the hell is it $19? And then after that, I didn't play it for about a month because it was so broken. You couldn't play a match. It was horrible. It was so bad. But then I played the single player and I fell in love with the single player. But yeah, no, it was nuts. It was really nuts. But yeah, what did you say, Rain? You said you want bro sell you KD OKC rookie jersey. You know what? No, give me a Westbrook rookie jersey or a James Harden, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, all right, guys, man. Thank you so much for coming through. I couldn't just leave it like it was last night. The stream worked fine, man. I don't know. My setup is Heckle and how is it Heckle and Hyde? Well, I can't even. What is that?
Jekyll and Hyde.
Heckle and Hyde. Okay.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde. Yes, that's what it is. Thank you. I knew you would know that, Dark, because you went to the movies.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
That's right. Yeah, that's what my setup is doing right now. But it's working fine. Excellent connection the whole time. So, guys, thank you.
I gotta get away from you country people, man. I swear.
Man, listen, you'll be a better person if you deal with us country folk.
Maybe I'll start going to church again.
Oh my God!
And All I know is I need to rub more dirt in it. That's all I need to do.
That's it.
over
Rub
there.
some dirt in it. Look at
Rub some dirt in it.
He
More
stubs a
porn.
nail. Ow, ow, oh no. Oh man. Oh, I got to do the sound bite. Hold on, let me find it. Let me do it. No,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
too late. It's too late. Now. I was gonna do it, but I. Oh, here we go. When Dark hurts his finger.
Jeez.
So,
Sounds like it hurts there, Dark.
that sounds like that really hurt, brother. I don't know.
Man, yeah. I feel bad for you.
Man. Anyway, all right, guys.
I mean,
all right, before we go too left, we got to get the hell out of here. Oh, man, Cali Rex, man, thank you for stopping by, man. Where can they find you at, brother?
You guys can find me on my own channel at Calorex and on my Twitter, Calorex011. So yeah,
Cali Rex love those Padres. Okay.
Dodgers, man, all the way.
yeah, Dodgers, baby.
Okay. All right. Well, yes. All right. Was you finished, or I just rudely interrupted you while you was still going? I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I'm finished.
You got to power through it with him, man. You just got to pretend he's not there.
At the end, especially the end of the podcast, man. It's quitting time. It's like a kid running out of the school, man. It's just it just get wild.
Swinging his lunch bell over his head and everything.
Yes, I'm like this.
One shall stand, one shall fall. Why throw away your life so recklessly? That's a question you should ask yourself, Megatron.
All right.
I feel like you think you're cooler than you actually are.
I really am. My son says stuff like that, and I'm like, you know what, son? I am damn cool. Don't you ever forget that. So, Dark, where can they find you at other than the sewers of California?
You guys can follow me on Twitter, Dark Animus. You can also on Xbox and same name podcast every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Nice. All right. And then Don. Man, where can they find you at, brother?
The best thing to do is follow me on Twitter, which is at the Don_KTR. Pretty much the same name for Xbox Live. I have a Discord server, and Devin the Gamer merch is officially up, and some more stuff will be going up, I think, as of Monday. And then if you want to directly support through Mega, I'm going to work with him this next week, so he can have that merch store also on his own YouTube channel, and you can support him directly through that channel. So
I definitely want one of those Shut Up Edition shirts, man.
Oh yeah,
Shut Up Editions.
Yeah, the Shut Up Edition. Yeah, there's definitely gonna be a Shut Up Edition shirt.
I'll buy that.
You'll be able to buy it, and you'll also be able to buy King of the A Button shirt too.
Yes.
That's the one that I'm working on as of right now. So
Nice.
I started that last night, so I'm gonna get that finished, and I think I'll have a good selection of stuff on Monday. In regards to right now, I only have like 3 or 4 designs on there. So, but I'll post it on Twitter so you guys can check it out. So.
Excellent. But watch out, because Don will be slick with it. He'll make it, but then he'll put it in all pink. So you just can't trust him. You can't trust
dude,
him.
I literally picked every shirt design as many colors that works with the logo as possible. So you guys can, you have to like fun through a bunch of different designs or different shirts, but you can find whatever cut you're looking for through Teespring, so which is pretty nice. So
you better
Nice.
watch out. There will be pink on with anything that has to do with my little sayings or whatever.
Hey, I'll wear a pink shirt. I'm okay.
I don't know why
You'll
he's so
wear a pink
insecure about
shirt.
pink. Yeah, I don't know why he's so insecure about pink, man. It's just a different shade of red.
I know,
what you're
I know.
talking about, man.
I don't know.
But anyway, yeah, so you're too close to California for that. Anyway, thank you.
There ain't no afraid no neon blue starfish.
True.
Oh man. Listen, we got people out here that sticks their hands in big ass holes to grab fish out of those holes. So yeah, we ain't scared no starfish.
Yeah, that's why they don't shove sticks and butter in their coffee. All right, well let's wrap this up.
Oh man! All right, here we go. All right. Thank you guys so much, man, for kind of hanging out with us, man. We'll, GRG will be back at his regular time and hopefully working appropriately, because like it's working now. If not, then we'll just keep doing it until Windows 11 get this shit together. So So we'll just keep doing that. But man, yeah, every Friday night, 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific, 2 a.m. GMT time. And then, of course, what would that be in Mountain Time, Don? 8 p.m.
I don't know. I always get it mixed up, so I'll have to figure that out.
Okay. But anyway, I got this green screen that I got to do something with. It's right here. It's set up.
I'll help you out, but I'll send you some settings for OBS for that screen.
Okay. So. And so then we can see if I could do something like that. Because if that, I got some ideas, but then,
Yeah, that's the whole point. You can just play around with it. We'll talk about it off air.
Yeah, some of my ideas could be a fail, so you got to watch out for that. But anyway. Thank you guys so much, man. Appreciate it.
You may going to wear green pants to stand in front of it.
I know. Right?
It's really uncomfortable. With his hands on his waist and everything. All right.
Just don't wear all green.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Have a good one, man. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, thanks for checking out the GRG podcast. All your gaming news and our special topic of the week. Make sure to join us every Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 p.m. Central, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. This was the GRG podcast.